He mostly didn't care what you were going to say. Let's be honest.
Nope.
A little tight-chested, but I don't know why.
Anxiety?
Well, I mean,
worried about this podcast?
Yeah, this one's getting me. I mean, I was sick for like 2 weeks. I think it's lingering.
You were sick?
I was.
Oh.
Did you hear that, Joe?
What?
I said I was sick, and Josh was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were sick." Unlike when Joe's sick, and everybody knows because he pisses and moans the whole time.
It's funny you said that because I resisted saying, you're like, I didn't know you were sick. I'm like, you mean as much as he talked about it? Because he couldn't resist the moment anyone else said they were sick without him saying like, oh yeah, I'm sick. So now don't complain about it because I've also been sick.
Right.
I don't understand how you didn't know he was sick when he went through a box of tissues a day.
Gosh, seriously, dude, I was blowing my nose every 4 seconds.
You know what, Ryan? I'm
Crazy.
tired of hearing about it.
I have a concern. That lighter is outside of everyone's reach.
I got one.
Oh.
Right here.
I got one here. Oh, no.
Nice. That's right. What'd he do? I didn't miss it. What'd he do?
Intrusive thoughts. That's what this podcast is now. It's intrusive thoughts.
Intrusive thought.
Yeah, you should clap again.
How do you even...
4 claps. No, do 2. There was 1 and 3. No, do 2.
So this is what gets me. And I had this conversation with my wife because she said, I can't remember, there was something one of us said that she's like, hey, that might be misconstrued. And I was like, well, it's too late. It's already out. Like, we have already released it.
Right.
And I was like, and then she told me, and I went, oh, that's not bad at all. There's nothing bad there. And she's like, but it could be misconstrued. And I said, but can't everything?
Anything.
Where is the, and this is a struggle for people who literally are on stage very often, speaking to a lot of people.
What do you avoid talking about? Like, let's just go with like you have a line where you said,
absolutely,
okay, I'm not going to talk about this because it's not well done. It's not well received from a stage or in front of a microphone. So what do you personally say, that's a one-on-one conversation. Not that you won't talk about it. You're like, that's a one-on-one or a small group conversation, not microphone, not stage.
So my first thought is the words. We've said many times, we're okay with all the words.
Yeah.
But I don't know everyone in the audience and where they're at personally with words.
I wanted to tell a story this week about the word, but I know he couldn't tell it. But I wanted to, it's a great story, and it makes the point. But I mean, because it's that word, so just that I'm like, there's nowhere. I thought about switching it with I go, I mean, I'm still problem.
I enjoy so much that I just can't wait to hear the final cut of this because it's going to go, I was going to tell a story about I thought about replacing it with you know what I mean? And everybody's like, dude, what?
Welcome to You Won't Hate It. Look at life through the lens of pastors at the length of a cigar. I'm Josh.
I am Ryan.
I'm Floyd.
I was going to be like, you're that's what you are.
Wait, so go back to that topic. I like this. So what do you avoid?
I don't understand. Like, sometimes I honestly feel weird and like I haven't adjusted well because I can't find... it's too nuanced. Okay, I feel like the goalposts are being moved constantly.
Sure.
And that kind of frustrates me with culture. But then I go, hey, you know what? That is actually okay with culture, though. We've done that forever. We're trying to improve. We're trying to be more sensitive. We're trying to be better. So I am okay with that. Except for the fact that when somebody says something that was fine yesterday, they say it today and everybody wants to destroy them. And I'm like, well, they thought it was yesterday. They didn't know.
Yeah.
And so the words, I'm fine with all of them. I will try and steer clear. I'll say crap from the pulpit. I don't mind that. I think I've said ass before. I'm pretty sure I've said ass.
You said a-hole for sure.
I've said a-hole for sure.
Which is pretty much saying asshole at that point. And when you say a-hole, I'm almost like, it feels more graphic. I don't know why. I feel like I picture an actual hole.
But I think that's more of a personal thing with you and you're like,
It's more of my it's more of my slant in life.
This is going to be an audio only episode, guys. Thank you for joining.
Man, no.
I don't know. Am I wrong? A-hole doesn't seem to help. I'm not swearing.
I don't think it does.
You're alluding to the actual
effing
word.
works.
But here's my thing.
Effing works. A-hole does not.
But I don't understand.
Effing doesn't work either because
This
remember
is my
he
point.
said
You're
effing.
saying the same thing.
It's only two
You
letters.
said effing, and everybody in the audience is convinced
he said
that you said
he
the
said
word.
a-hole, and they thought he said.
Well, he said,
I don't know how they made the leap.
He said
They made a hugely big deal.
he said mother effer.
He said mother effer.
He said mother's effort, and that's what he's talking about. His
Yeah, I was
mom
talking about a mother's
really
effort.
put in a
And
lot
it got
of.
really
She's contributed
changed.
so much.
My mom's feelings were hurt.
Yeah.
That's very
You
weird.
say freak.
Oh, freak
it
for
in a
sure.
lot. You say that you did yesterday.
Frick.
Even.
I say frick and freak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What the
frack.
frick?
and frack.
Frickin' frack.
Yep.
I started saying those because I thought they were funny. Because I think they're just like funny slangs and now they're genuinely a part of my vernacular. Like it's normal for me. That's just how and I guess my frustration with all of it is that I don't know where that line is because I agree. Like a-hole is the same as asshole, but it's not.
I know it's not, but it feels the same.
But
that's weird.
But then I have
wrong.
a problem because then you can't say shoot. You can't say darn it.
Okay,
Gosh darn it.
Are you saying shoot and a-hole are the same? Because I'm with you on the implication, right? The implication is dead on.
No,
I don't know
there's
why.
clearly
It's nuanced. We've been saying it's nuanced.
Yeah, and I don't understand because I don't know how I'd like to hear someone actually describe an a-hole. No, describe what the difference is. Like, because why is crap and shoot so okay?
Crap shoot?
Well, here's the funny part.
Crap shoot.
Yeah.
Here's the funny part is, and every word, like everybody's different, right? I don't think I've ever flinched ever at anybody saying the word shit. Like I don't know why that one just doesn't seem to register to me as like, oh no.
But we don't flinch at any of the words.
But I mean, I'm talking about even in my conservative
That's
days.
not true.
No.
I flinch.
You're being
you flinch when you
surprising.
say them? Is our perspective on all of this skewed because of our viewpoint?
Oh, sure. I was raised where you couldn't.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you couldn't say much of any, that was not okay. Which is funny because the patriarch in my household swore like crazy.
Yeah.
But we were definitely not allowed to say anything.
I was raised the same way. Nobody used those words, but they would talk about people behind their back all day long. And that was okay.
That's very interesting, yeah.
I would say I don't think any of the words remotely bother me, and I think any inflection makes me uncomfortable. So when people are using any words, even if they're not swearing, but they have an inflection of either racism or hate, then I'm like, wow. And it doesn't have to be a swear word. Just this idea of, so the words don't bother me, but it's anytime you put inflection on them where it connotes some sort of an emotion or judgment or something. But outside of that, in joking, if somebody's joking, I can't think of a word that would offend me.
If someone's joking, that's why I was saying I do still flinch, is because if you're joking in a joke, I'm like, there's been times where I've heard comedians say things where I go, oh, because you're just like, they're pushing the limit as far as they can.
Right.
But I don't care because I know they're joking. The flinch for me is when I can tell somebody has some...
they mean it.
Yeah,
they
some
mean something.
anger in it. I'm like, there's some malice going on.
Yeah.
I don't...
So it's the thing that we
it's a hard
always
issue
say.
at that point.
It's the attitude, not the action.
Right. So you're going to, on the stage, stay away from the words, even though you're comfortable with them off stage. So that's where this is all going back
I'm
into.
very conscious of the words I'm saying. I will make mistakes. Sometimes I slip up, so it's not like I'm perfect by any means. But I try and be very conscious. When I'm writing the sermon, I'm very conscious of where it's leading. Mm-hmm. And then there are topics where, let's think.
Josh, what are the words you won't sing?
Yeah. Words you won't sing. You know what's
Topics
funny?
I feel like you can't. Sometimes you're like, I can't do it justice from this stage.
But wait a minute. We've talked about homosexuality.
But not we've flyover on some of those topics.
Yeah.
We preached a legit full-on sermon of
I
where
know,
we
but
thought
we've done
homosexuality
it once.
lands.
I'm just saying, that's still a topic. We realize that's not something we're just moving in and out of easily.
No, not moving. Yeah,
Because we're not afraid of anything.
No.
That means we're going to take the time
because
to
we've done that
really
same thing
talk about
with
it.
race.
Everything.
Well,
We haven't done the gender stuff though. Sorry,
We've even had some topics for the podcast that we won't address because it's too nuanced to have in front of a live audience,
100%,
or a large audience, and especially in one
large
where
live audience.
I would even say it's just divisive. Right now, where it's at, where we're going to talk about at this point isn't helping the conversation.
And it's
too heated at this point.
It's our ability to do it justice, I think, is the key.
When you're doing this outside of personal dynamics and you're not giving people a chance to give their feedback to what you're saying, they latch on to one part of the conversation, even if you're like, but I said that earlier in the podcast, or I say that later in the podcast. Yeah. And so because it's not that personal dialogue where you can actually allow them to speak, because that's what's happening. They want to speak.
Yeah.
and they can't. And so they just get mad at something you're saying out of context.
Yeah.
And it's just not, I don't see how that's helping the dialogue. I can imagine having 50 conversations about it or,
Well, I
discussions.
think what
That's
you
great.
just said is the difference. The healthiest way to do this is in a dialogue. Sending a tweet is not a dialogue.
Yep.
In fact, a lot of the sermon, even though we have an interactive sermons to where people can speak back, that's still not a true dialogue.
Or stand up and charge the stage. We allow that. That's also
But it's
okay.
happened, so
It's worth it in our context. It works.
did you see the opening? It was Jimmy Kimmel did Golden Globes, Oscars, maybe I can't remember. It was
Oscars just
award show.
happened.
for last night.
That was last night.
Yeah.
And he did if you get offended, just stay seated, don't get up, and he
amazing.
did some Will Smith pokes.
That's
I thought it was
awesome.
funny. Yeah.
How would he not?
I can't believe that was a year ago because it was at the Oscars, right?
Yes, because he wasn't best actor.
So he even said, he goes, so if you feel like you're going to stand up and charge the stage and beat me up, like, trust me, you're going to win Best Actor. And like, it was actually pretty good. Like,
that was pretty
some of the bits where at
awesome.
first I was like, I can't believe they're even going to talk about it. And then I was like, oh,
You
no, it's
have
actually
to.
pretty witty.
And you have to do
Well,
it.
no, I meant like, sometimes I think the best thing to do is ignore. If somebody does something so stupid,
Yeah.
everybody talks about it. And I'm like, well, now they're getting famous off of it. Or if everybody just goes, you're an idiot, and I'm not even going to waste my breath on
Yeah.
it. Because that's the worst thing you can do for narcissists like
It's
that,
true.
right?
Like,
Is ignore them.
Last year, we're like, who's this William Smith?
Yeah.
And then when he smacks him, we're like, oh my gosh, this guy's famous.
It's actually Bill.
Bill, who's
Yeah.
this Bill,
Bill
Smith?
Smith.
It's Billy Smith.
It's Billiam, actually. It's Billiam Smith, and he was a decent rapper.
That's right. He was a very, very clean rapper.
Yeah. So anyway, topics. We will talk about anything in the right context.
All right. What
That's
about
the
do
key.
you guys have anything that you would stay away from in a public setting or on this podcast?
You know, there actually depends on the time. It's nuanced based on your audience. And it was around a time that there was a police death. And then there was a group of guys who were playing on stage and we're all jamming. And they wanted to play I Shot the Sheriff by Bob Marley.
Oh,
And
goodness
I'm like,
gracious.
And I thought, I'm just going to sit this one out.
Really?
And they're like, where are you going? And I said, I'm good.
Really?
And I wasn't like, hey, we shouldn't play the. I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys want to do this? I don't think it. Obviously, they weren't being like, yeah, they weren't aware, and so I could tell people were uncomfortable. I just sat out.
How come you didn't say anything? Just out of curiosity. Why not say like?
Well, I said
oh,
like,
hey,
yeah, no,
guys.
I don't want to play this song. It's just it doesn't.
But did you explain why?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, okay, and I'm like, yeah, you guys do what you want. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
so
play.
you told them the guy just got shot. I think it's.
I didn't explain the whole thing.
inappropriate.
I just said like, yeah, I don't feel like it's appropriate right now.
Oh.
And they're like, oh, okay, and then they kept playing. I was like, all right.
Yeah, that's interesting because we're so boring because when you ask a question, we're like, yeah, it's nuanced. It's like our response to everything. So we're so boring in topics because it's like, what wouldn't you say?
It was like
it
an,
depends.
it was all within a
Everyone
minute.
But that's all right because that's literally how we all feel.
I will
So
say
it's accurate.
there is something to a hot take, like some people having a hot take, but we're sick of it. Everybody's got a hot take. Everything's polar at this point.
Oh, I
it's
think
actually nice. It's someone be reasonable, to reason through things. We don't hear that. We're always hearing the right and the left just be ridiculous about stuff. It's
Yeah.
actually nice to have somebody like, hey, here's a reasonable thought.
Yeah,
Here's
it's
logic.
funny because I have done my darndest to steer clear of all of that like divisive media, and I just don't want to. Like people share things with me, and if I click on it and it's media, I usually I just feel healthier as an individual if I stay out of the loop.
Yeah.
Because most of the stuff that I'm in the loop with doesn't affect me at all.
Right.
Like if it has to do with anything
Right.
in Hollywood, like I enjoy movies. I really
Right.
like Avenger movies. I think they're super fun. I don't
Super
need to
divisive
know.
movies.
I actually just well, here's what's funny. I just watched a thing this morning that was about the new. Is it Phase 4?
I don't know.
We're in whatever phase that the MCU is in, and it was something about Scarlett Johansson, and then they mentioned something about like, that she. Well, we don't talk about that because of how she did something, and I'm like, I have no idea what's happening,
And I don't care.
and I don't care.
I don't know what MCU is.
Marvel
well,
Cinematic Universe.
Oh God.
By the way, Floyd, we didn't give you a chance. Is there anything you stay away from talking in public besides, which we clearly know you're comfortable with, your daughter's chastity belt?
Oh,
you're comfortable with
totally comfortable with
You're
that.
comfortable with that.
waiting to
What
hear
else?
how you'd word it.
But what are you uncomfortable with? Clearly, you don't have anything you're uncomfortable with.
So it's
I know
it's
I'm
very
uncomfortable
nuanced.
now.
It's very nuanced. That's why we say that, because it legitimately is. So for me, it's situationally dependent based upon the audience, right? We all have this where we speak in various different avenues, and so depending upon the audience that I have,
At some point, Floyd's going to punch one of us.
It's going to be Joe.
Yeah, it's going to be Joe.
He's right.
He's gonna headbutt.
He should.
He's going to headbutt now that he knows.
Look what I just learned.
And I'd be like, that's a head spear.
Yeah.
It's not a
So what's funny is it's not that I don't talk. I just don't do it on camera. Joe gives the most ammunition for me to just crap all over him all the time.
But you're a better man than Joe.
Like way more conservative politically than I am.
Interesting.
I would say that I don't mind saying this. Like, I'm a conservative. I don't have a team. I'm not a Republican. I'm not part of the MAGA stuff. Conservative is a philosophy. So philosophically, I'm a conservative in the way I would say you run a country.
And I don't canceled.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? And if I get canceled for that, I'm actually okay with that because socially, the reason why I don't pick a team is I don't like the way the conservatives typically treat humans. So that's why I don't ascribe to a lot of those teams.
If you would like to submit your resume for the co-senior pastor of First Street Church, you can email that to admin@firststreetchurch.com.
We have an opening.
We have an opening.
Yeah.
Good.
We look at your profile pictures on Facebook first.
I love that.
It sounds dumb. I'm so sick of talking about politics. No, that's not true. I rarely talk about politics because I turned a corner where I enjoy talking about it.
Right.
But again, it's just so divisive and it's so hard to say anything because I really do want to have.
So is politics one of the things you would avoid talking about?
No, I think I want to say I've probably mentioned it 90% of my sermons, but it's usually
making fun of it.
Yeah, it's usually because I think everyone's burned out. That's how I feel. That's
Do you
the
consider
take
yourself
I
a
get.
conservative?
I don't know, man.
I like labels.
I consider
Labels are no
myself
good.
a bull moose party.
Oh, little
I really do.
Roosevelt throwback.
Like if I had to pick, if there was just kind of like, yeah, what would you consider? I'd be like, that's a camp I would.
And just so you know,
join.
PETA hates that group because of the way they treated the bull moose. So
PETA hates for sure because he was a hunter. Yeah. So yeah, you're not a fan of that guy.
What you were saying about influence of the news and stuff like that. So I recently got a subscription to the Daily Wire.
So you could do your own research.
So
you can watch
because
Ellen.
I want to watch. Because I want to watch.
News.
Fake news. That was totally wrong. But you saw? Did I send you guys the Facebook ad that I?
I don't know.
Anyway,
we didn't care.
So I got a subscription to the Daily Wire because I love Jordan Peterson. They have his Genesis lectures, his Exodus lectures, a bunch of stuff from Jordan Peterson on there. But now I keep getting all of these updates and all of these notifications on my phone that are news related that I couldn't care less about.
Yeah, I actually heard Ben Shapiro making fun of Biden today. It was on my drive, and I clicked it. And it's funny because I actually think Ben Shapiro is incredibly intelligent. He was being so mean, and it was the weirdest thing where I'm like, I get it. Like, we don't like the other side's whoever we are. We don't like the other side's stance. But it was so interesting because I go, oh yeah, he needs ratings. He's an actual network now, and so he needs some shock value. He needs to be mean, and I'm not even saying he's wrong. Right. I'm just saying he was mean, and there's a way to deliver information.
100%.
But nobody's gonna listen if you're kind.
It's true, and here's what's funny is that's
handle.
why I'd rather say I'm a conservative than say I support or like Ben Shapiro or like Jordan Peterson. Not because those guys are bad, but they're literally like firing rods for like they're dividers because they're taking stands that the other side is definitely fighting back with them. And I'm like, I'd rather just quietly like parts of whatever they do or say because it's hard to totally like what Ben Shapiro's doing for the exact reason you're saying. It's like his political stances, I personally love. I look at a lot of his memes; they're mean.
Yeah.
And I don't like mean.
Mean
like
memes.
I'm not into. I don't like it.
Meanies.
I'm like,
Mean
you know
memes.
what? For me, it should be just good enough that you're smart because you are smart. I don't like that you have to go into.
Incredibly intelligent. And I said the same thing with Hank Hanegraaff. I thought Hank Hanegraaff, for those that don't know, he was known as the Bible answer man.
Loved him.
I'm saying was. Did he pass away?
I said I thought he did the other day, and then somebody said he's alive.
That's why I can't.
But I don't know.
I don't know. He was known as the Bible answer man.
Genius.
Brilliant. He had an answer for everybody that said anything about any topic religious related. But he was so mean to people he disagreed with.
Brutal.
That it actually hurt because I'm like, dude, I want to like you.
Yeah.
But he was so... And it was weird because I'm like, you don't have to be mean. This person called him with a question that clearly was trying to steer you in a different direction. You disagree. So instead of just saying, oh, here's how I see it, he would be like, well, if you're stupid, you would think that. And you're like, dude,
ouch.
That person literally called with a question.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And I thought, why be mean? Because you can get a great point across by being kind.
And you can even get it. across better in most cases by being kind. That person immediately shut him off when he said that.
100%.
Well, let's go into a person who's been totally canceled, who's done it the opposite way, in a way I love.
Okay.
Totally canceled.
Josh?
Ravi Zachariah. Ravi Zachariah did an amazing job going to Harvard, talking to people about God. He wasn't mean. He was a genius.
The
and he was
kindest apologist I've ever heard in my life. Yeah.
So you're like, there is a model, and of course he had all of his personal demons, but when we're talking about how to deliver conflicting information to somebody that is you would be deemed as an opponent and do it in such a loving way that you invite them into a dialogue, that was done perfectly. Why not be that?
And do you want to know this is what is interesting to me. Ravi Zacharias, everyone was heartbroken.
Yeah.
Because you're like, he seemed like a good man. Mm-hmm. And we even say he just had some demons.
Yep.
Sure.
It doesn't excuse anything that he did. Nope. It's vile. It's disgusting. It was terrible. But it was weird to see the reaction, how different it was. That one was, dang it, I loved that guy. I'm heartbroken that he had so much baggage and he was so broken. Mm-hmm. And then someone who's a legit narcissist, you go, oh, frick, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you got taken down because you're such a jerk.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you succeed. So it's kind of like this weird, in whatever you do, just have that humility, knowing full well that you're human and make mistakes.
Yeah.
Some of which are massive, sadly, like Ravi Zacharias, enough to make some people never listen to him again when I genuinely think he was one of the most brilliant apologists of our day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes you make a mistake and people forgive you.
Well, I think there just needs to be grace, and then it's not there, but that's why we're pastors saying this on both sides. When Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky and classic Me Too movement type stuff, when that all went down,
Me Too,
right? When all that went down, SNL and Family Guy painted him as a ladies' man based on that experience, and so
isn't that weird?
So you're just like,
that's crazy.
You're like, this is because you like that side, right?
Yeah.
So those very openly left-leaning, entertainment shows are like, this guy's a baller, and people joked about it, and he's this ladies' man, he's all this stuff. And really, in reality,
it was also a different era.
It was a different era.
Yeah,
so I'm just saying along the lines of, if you liked what Bill Clinton did as a president, let's just
what
say
he
that.
Stood for,
whatever
his
he
politics,
stood for, if you're on that side, and then you clearly see he did something horrible with Monica Lewinsky. He abused his power, right? But you can say that was bad, but I still like what he did as a president.
Right.
I would just say apply that across the board and just say, right, this person did this really bad thing. We don't like it. That doesn't change the fact that they painted a painting in a way I like it.
Yeah, we don't seem able to do that as a culture. We have such a problem with, if I don't like, and what's weird is we talk about this all the time. I think it boils down to identity. Because if you identify yourself as like a Republican, like if that's your identity, then I can't possibly agree with something a Democrat
Well, it goes
says.
against your identity. It's a betrayal of self.
So it's a betrayal of self. And so you put your identity in anything other than Christ, and I genuinely mean that, in anything.
Right.
You will get offended a lot. You will get frustrated a lot. You'll get mad a lot. I noticed that when I feel frustration well up in me, I'm like, ooh, what's going on? Like, what is it that there's something wrong. Like if I just get frustrated. And it's funny.
You're probably the best. You're probably the most self-aware at that out of anybody. I've tried to learn from it. And I really
try.
It's actually helped my marriage because whenever I get
just because
worked
of
up,
our bromance.
Our bromance. Because when I get worked up, I'm like, oh yeah, this is nothing, or this is me. I'm big on like, oh, that's because I like things this way, and I can laugh at, but really in the moment now. Now it's not like I can do it right in the moment.
Yeah, trying to identify it is interesting.
So I'm at the point where I identify it, but it's usually after I've made an idiot of myself.
Sure,
that.
But I literally, I mean, that's how you start.
But it's a process.
It's retrospective.
Right? Yeah.
Today it was super funny. I want to tell you a story, and it's gonna be funny.
Yeah, settle in, Josh.
You guys ready?
That's the right body language, Josh.
So I get in the car. I'm driving. I'm running a few errands, and I was like, "Dang it! I'm gonna be like right on time to work." And then Floyd texts me and goes, "Hey, can you pick up the check from the foundation?" And it took like 6 minutes of me driving because I read the text. I was immediately frustrated. And it's like, why the frick would that frustrate you?
Because you set in your mind what time you were going to be at
church. It was twofold is what I discovered. It took me about 6 minutes while I was driving. One is because I had a plan and I can't stand deviating from the plan that I laid out. The second, and this is honest, is I went, I'm not your frickin' secretary. Like, I don't run errands for people. I don't do and I went, dude, you're such an idiot. he asked for a favor. Like, he's not asking you to be his secretary. He asked you to pick up the check, dude.
Actually, as soon as he texted, he looked at me, he goes, he's my secretary.
So what's funny is, the worst part about that is that Ryan doesn't ever read all of my text messages because they're long.
That is accurate.
They are long.
And the
That
end,
is true.
the end of my text message said, if it's a hassle, don't worry about it. I can get it after.
Oh, did it say that?
It said that 100%.
I actually may not have read
amazing.
that.
And by the way,
No, I did read that. I read that.
And by the way, I had that same emotion. Like, I'm not your secretary. Put it in the calendar yourself.
Totally.
I feel like
Yeah,
we've all
I've
had
done that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've done that.
I do that. What's funny is I did it again today, and like I've done it multiple times in a day. But it was just funny to stop and go, okay, it's not like it's weird because it's this, and I realize the reason this all comes back around is I'm like sometimes I put way too much of my identity in like being the boss. Or the head, and it's literally, I just preached a sermon on this yesterday. So it's kind of goofy that I'm like still dealing with it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, that's right. Like, and plus, if I am the boss, biblically, then I'm the servant.
Right.
Then I'm the one, like biblically, then I'm the one who serves people.
So you should pick that check up every week is what you're saying.
I picked up the check and go get it yourself now,
That's
Joe.
right.
Okay.
Here's what I love about this. My first experience with Ryan, like first one, we're on a trip, we're in London. He's basically dealing with another person on our trip who can't stand that we
couldn't remember
keep
this story.
deviating from the plan. And he kept just being like, what's the plan? And Ryan's like, no, like, we'll have a set plan, but then we're just going to deviate whenever the Lord leads it. Then he tells a story about Indonesia where he's constantly deviating from whatever plan there might be. So I think it is kind of funny is like, but then when you set it a plan in your own mind
100%.
and
No, that's
somebody
the
else
thing.
wants you to deviate,
yeah.
it's weird how the freedom to move in and out of a plan when it's your choice is different
Yeah,
than when
Like
someone
the
else is asking you
possessiveness
to
of
do
the
it.
plan.
Yeah. And if a lot of times, so especially on a mission trip, like the minute I get in the car to drive to the airport, I give everything over to the Lord. And it's like, I can miss flights and I'm relaxed. I'm fine with it. If I'm preaching a sermon, I get excited when God like changes the sermon and mixes it up. I still struggle with the human side of, okay, this is a normal day. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
God is still literally still breaking me of the, hey, every day's a missions trip. Like every day should be that mindset. And I still work through that. And I recognize it as what's funny. And I laugh because I'm like, well, do I get to control anything? Like anything at all? Because I'm a control freak.
Yes,
And God's like,
you can control your response.
oh, that's the worst.
I was going to say, you can go pick up the check.
My
You-
sponsor,
that's what you can control.
Control
You're
that.
going to get the check.
my sponsor gave me the hula hoop analogy. He's like, you put on your hula hoop. I'm like, all right. So it's like you put in. It's like, all right. What can you control? Everything inside the hula hoop. What can't you control? Everything outside the hula hoop. All
Not
right.
true. I could throw something. See, I'm like, got a hula hoop on. It's in
Yeah.
my pocket, and if I throw it, I could break that window.
I like
So
that.
just
I
control
like
the
that he's
window.
trying. I like the attempt at a good.
I like that you liked it.
It's helped.
It
I
is
like that you
helpful.
liked
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because I'd have been like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
But
Yeah.
it's silly.
What if I
which
throw the
actually
hula
breaks me
hoop
out of
over
the-
there?
Anything inside the hula hoop you can control.
weird.
It's like a superpower.
Did you just? I just scooped you, sponsor. Now you're in my hula hoop. Now I'm controlling you. You're
telling me
inside the
anything
hula hoop.
inside-
How about you go pick up the check, sponsor? How about that?
I don't like it in this hula hoop. I went out.
It smells in here.
How did you contain so much smell in a? It's an open air hula hoop.
Possible. So yeah, it's so funny when because I genuinely think God is constantly trying to bring us closer to being like Him, and it's so uncomfortable. It is, and like around every turn, even when it's great and you love it and you say you love it, it's tiring. There are times where I get tired.
I just pictured God on the way to work, and he got a text message to pick up the check, and he's like,
What does God drive?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
What does
yeah.
God drive?
So God's on his way to work.
it would be a
what's he
G-Wagon.
driving?
Okay, tell me why.
G-Wagon.
Give us.
Unfortunately.
What?
Are
That's
you
the stupidest
freaking
car in the
kidding me?
world.
Got the G.
It's got a saggy butt.
I like the G-Wagon.
The lights are all the way on the bottom
the
and the back.
God-wagon concept. I like.
Okay,
I
that-
don't like that it's the G-Wagon.
It helps. It helps that he said.
Yeah, that
they
helps,
explained it.
but I don't
don't like it.
There's not many uglier cars.
No.
There's not. There's just not.
I don't disagree.
What's he driving, Floyd?
Yeah.
That's your dream car. So God's
It's-
driving your dream car.
I think it's like a 70s model of something.
A 70s model G-Wagon?
No, of something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something he can work on himself.
I think he's riding a big Harley.
Okay.
Ooh,
Harley.
okay.
Yeah.
Joe,
Really?
Full dress
what's
Harley.
he riding? What's he driving?
What's he driving? I think he's driving an old pickup truck.
Oh man,
I really
you
do.
guys
good one.
all
That's a good one.
guys all went like earthly vehicle because
Oh.
my mind was literally like he's
a
on the back
chariot?
of a dragon. Like, he is riding a dragon like every time.
I was 73 Mustang Fastback.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's because the boss? Is that why?
I
Is this
just-
the
I
boss?
love the car.
329 boss?
It's a great
I
car.
love the Mach. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the Eleanor? Eleanor from Fast and Furious.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful car.
I like that he's like, this thing that you have never seen before is real. I've just decided to make a dragon.
I also like that he
Are
gets in the
dragons
car,
real?
and he's driving, and he's just immediately like, "Oh, there's no AC in this car." Oh, he's got to open that wing window vent that sucks so bad in Fresno when
Yeah.
it's hot. Ah,
He's looking at his phone while he's driving. I gotta get that checked.
I just saw a video of a contraption that was built in like the 60s that you'd put in the windows.
Yeah.
And it was like a metal tube.
Metal tube.
That you pour distilled water in, and it would. I never
Or put ice in it.
I never
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
that
ice.
before.
You
Put ice in
yeah.
it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's,
I'm young.
Let's
I'm young.
Actually, this is appropriate.
Okay.
People on Ask Reddit, people who lived in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. What was it really like?
all right. Well, pick your decade before you go the.
So I was born in the 70s.
okay.
Uh,
So 80s and 90s are kind of your formative years.
Yeah. What I remember is the amount of freedom, little stress. The 80s were a boom in the economy, and so middle class was booming like crazy. Nobody got, and this is retrospective, obviously. I don't think I
Right.
thought this at the time, but nobody was offended about anything. You could say anything to anybody, even when it was like, oh, you shouldn't say that. It was still fine. And here's the deal, like, and I don't agree with this. I am not advocating for this, but if you got too stupid, you got knocked out.
Yes, 100%. And the people.
And so you didn't get too stupid because you're like, there are ramifications for
Yeah.
how I act and speak to this person in front of me. So I'm going to watch myself and how I act.
But you got knocked out, not shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I never worried about getting stabbed or shot. We used
Right.
to fight. Like we
Yeah.
used to brawl, and it was
Just a
it was
different,
kind of fun.
Different parts of the country, though, right?
And I would never want
and-
my kid to do that.
and the only
yes,
person-
no. We're talking Central
Right.
California.
So Central California
100%.
perspective.
And the
Okay.
only person that told you should say that was your grandmother.
And then she would mumble something racist.
And my mom. My
mom would?
mom was very. My mom was still is probably the best person I know.
Yeah.
That's true. She probably.
Ashley.
Ashley has a lot of faults, Joe. No, what's funny is there's
Leave
such
that in.
Yes.
There's such a similarity. Ashley is by far, and this is funny, but Ashley is the wisest person I know. She genuinely is. She thinks of things that I am shocked by. Like I think I'm a doofus, but every once in a while I'm like, oh, I said something very wise. That is Ashley's normal life every day.
Sure.
She says wise things to the children.
So she's wise. Mom's good.
Mom's just a good person. Ashley is. I mean, Ashley is too. She doesn't. I don't remember if she's ever hurt someone's feelings in her life.
Okay.
As a child, she cared for other people. I had to like grow into that, but she always hung out with the kids that nobody else would hang out. Like in high school, she purposely went out of her way to be kind to, and she won.
That's how she met you, right?
Yeah, it was a mercy date. What's the prom queen? Is that prom
Yeah.
queen, right?
I love
Yeah,
that
she
that-
run.
What was the other
prom
option
queen.
after that word?
No, I was
prom.
I was thinking of what's the
Pontiff?
This sounds weird. It's
Homecoming queen?
homecoming. I was like the Super Bowl for high school. It's homecoming.
That was
That's
actually
what
right.
I couldn't figure it
Super
out.
Bowl High School is not a bad.
Yeah, Super Bowl for high school.
All right. What about you guys? 70s, 80s, 90s.
Why'd you look at me? I
'Cause
was born
Well,
when
90s.
were you born?
He was born in the 90s.
93.
Okay.
93.
So up till 7 years old.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was great.
Okay.
I loved it. Climbing trees, I mean, my parents were a little strict, like, hey, don't go past the corner down the street, but
okay.
Did
But
you-
they
I
let you
remember-
run around in the
Oh,
street.
yeah.
Was this pre-bug experience? Had you?
No, bug experience was in high school.
Okay. I just wanted to know when the bugs
Yeah.
traumatized you.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Josh fell in a rotten tree with bugs.
And never been the
and
same.
it's never been the
never
same.
I
the
picked
same.
up a cockroach a couple months ago.
Oh, my
he was so mad at me.
I wasn't like, "Wah!" I was like, if you're going to throw that at me.
Yeah.
the fear,
headbutt you.
the fear that I was going to throw it. I'm like,
he got serious quick.
He was so mad at me, which was such the opposite response I thought was going to happen. He's like,
That shift, though,
I didn't even threaten it. I just picked it up.
is there anything, we're going to get to this, your guys' generations, but is there anything that you can think of that will flip that switch for you where you're like, oh, this is fun in games, and it's not funny anymore?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What is that?
Somebody with a pit bull that's snarling at me, and they're like, don't worry, he's not going to bite you. I'm like, I'm going to kick your dog in the face.
You're
right
not
now.
wrong, and it's not funny.
Scare me. It would scare me.
Yeah. Like,
And
you're
there's the dog,
absolutely right.
I'd be like, nope, no, this is all about to change real fast.
That's interesting. That's
I would be afraid, and I'd be mad, and I'd be like, I'm going to harm you and the animal.
Yeah. Floyd, what about you?
I probably have a lot of things
Do
that, yeah, that the switch would flip over. Mostly it's like, I'm all good with jokes and stuff like that, but, leave my family out. Like, you can say whatever you want about me, leave the family out of it. Don't talk about
Family would make you mad, huh?
Yeah, I'm pretty protective of my family.
He is pretty protective of his family. What if somebody continually joked about, like, I don't know, your middle name and a trailer or something?
The trailer, the only thing, so the middle name doesn't bother me at all. The trailer
Clueless?
thing only bothered
Who's
me
mad
because it
about
was
Clueless?
true. Oh, no,
Clueless?
and the trailer thing only bothered me because it was true. I grew up in a trailer. I mean,
It's funny, though, and I
didn't
don't
know that.
I know. I didn't know that either. I would have never guessed that. I would
I
have never
inferred
thought
it.
that.
I inferred it.
No, you didn't infer it. You straight up said it. There was no...
No, I mean, once I heard the middle name,
and
I
again,
just inferred it.
and again, the guy that we can on the most about all of this is the guy that's talking.
That's why, though, because he doesn't care.
Yeah,
That's,
So
that is a problem.
if
'cause I
you
don't-
talk-
if you make fun of me, I
Yeah.
think you like me.
100%. Yeah.
It's a sign of affection.
And say anything you want about his family. He doesn't care.
Some of the things he says about his family.
100%. So that's why it's difficult, because
it
I'm
is.
similar in that I don't have, like, there is no out of bounds. There's no over the line. My family is super weird.
You don't get over the line, but if you get in an emotional state, I know.
Well, yeah, but that's everybody.
But no, I'm saying
Apparently,
like when you get into there was a situation where somebody was being weird with your wife at an event, and we were talking through it.
That was more than weird with my
I know,
wife.
I know. And in that moment, I thought, I wanted
Remember that?
I wanted to
It's
joke.
very nuanced, guys.
I wanted to
Very
joke.
We should have a nuance counter.
That's right.
Yeah.
There should be a nuance 37.
I wanted to joke, but in that place, I'm like, he's not ready to joke about this.
What's
But
funny-
a few times, I wanted to be like, what was happening there?
I'm always ready to joke about it. It's just that it's like, ooh, that one got me a little, like, because I felt myself when I was getting the text messages, this dude was like aggressively hitting on my wife, but she didn't tell me about it. I found out about it afterwards.
my favorite.
Because
My
he
favorite.
sent me a message to be like, hey, could you please give your wife my number? Because I really want to connect with her. And I'm like, dude.
I'm sorry, what?
And then I'm like, and I didn't respond. And he wrote another one back that was like, man, we had such a great time at the reunion. And I was like,
Yes.
ooh. Like I got hot. We were driving down to LA.
I loved it.
And like literally I got hot. I was like, I gotta take my sweatshirt off. I gotta fight somebody. Oh God.
I realized it was not the time to mess with him. It was the time to talk him down. But in my mind, I'm like, this is so such an opportunity.
It was a visceral, like physiological reaction. I was hot, and I'm like, ooh.
we were in the car.
I didn't know you guys were in the car with
It
him?
was on the way to.
I blacked out. I was blackout angry. I don't even remember.
Was it the Black Gold trip?
You were asleep.
Yeah, you were always asleep.
I don't
You were asleep.
remember.
Carpolepsy.
Well, if the car was on, you were asleep.
Josh, before we get to the
Yeah, yeah.
70s and 80s and 90s, what's your thing that would get you kind of flip the
Well,
switch?
other than the bug.
Besides a bug.
I don't know. I don't really have many other than like tickling. Like you get tickled past a certain point.
I almost reached
and
over.
then
and just-
You know, seriously,
the
I
cost.
seriously thought Floyd was going to say tickling. I'm not joking. I thought he was going to,
Really?
because I feel like personal space would be like a thing he'd
Yeah,
get upset about.
do you
Are
guys
you a
not-
personal space guy? I'm
I'm
fine
a
with it.
personal
Little
space
bit.
guy, but like if someone's tickling, like you're having fun, you're wrestling, you're
It
tickling,
always goes over the
tickle
line.
fight, and then it gets past that line.
They did a study a while ago that my wife showed me that that truthfully nobody likes tickling. Like it actually and the laughter response isn't because you think
Right.
like it's not the right response. It's this weird awkward thing, and it's funny because they might be right.
Whenever you've been enjoyed someone tickling you ever.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine is I hate I hate being touched. Like other than like
You do.
I really do. I don't like it.
I hate being.
I don't like it.
I hate human contact.
That's right. Other than
Lisa's watching.
other than an agreed upon like hug or handshake, like something like that.
It's
like,
weird
somebody
on
just
a
coming in to touch me
on a
I don't
Sunday
like it.
morning. Joe, if you reach out to hug him or he gives you a little contract, and he's like, "We just want to make sure this is mutually like."
Oh, you mentioned if someone's like not in a patronizing manner, but it might feel that way if someone's like, "Yeah, hey, you got it."
A
or
hard pat
something.
on the back for whatever reason fires me up. I don't know why.
Do you want to know the worst
Don't know
one I
why.
can think of? I'm going to do it to Josh.
Okay.
Just because it's fun. And this happens to adults. Like, hey man,
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
why? If
Patting
anybody
my
ever
head.
patted me on the head,
Why
it
are
would
they
be
doing that?
on.
What's
First
up
of
with
all,
a head
who
pat?
can reach you?
So I have it's true. I have a buddy who, when we hug, and I actually had to tell him not to do this. We go in for a hug. He grabs the back of your head or neck and hugs and I'm like, dude, it's like I don't know because I love hugging. It
feels like a clinch.
Yeah, no.
I think that's what
That
it
would
was.
that would make me feel like
It
clinching
felt like
me.
a fight, and I was
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, dude, this might be me, but like, you can't grab me like that again because I almost,
it is.
I
Yeah,
that'll
literally
like-
almost leg
yeah.
swept you. Like
Yeah.
I was in.
I do that sometimes to guys, like it would go in for a hug, something like.
Oh, I don't
Your
like it.
hand goes up to the back of the head?
Well, I do it to like my sons. I hug
kind of
that
like
way.
a fatherly.
It's a fatherly thing.
isn't it?
Yeah. So
No.
first of all, he's younger
No.
than me, so I'm like, first off, don't try and father me right now. Like it's super
I
weird.
felt like a verb. Like I didn't like the way you said that. I
had
did
a-
not
No,
like
you're
that
right.
version
You're
of
right.
that.
I
at
had a
all.
lady in the store want to touch my head. I've had that happen a number of times.
Because you're
They
bald.
Did you let her?
want to
Oh, yeah,
feel your
because you're
head.
bald.
Did you let her?
No, hell no.
Has she not been out?
Really?
touch my head?
So in a lot of foreign countries, India, Japan, this is not a foreign country, but in Watts, down in Southern California, I've had
it's pretty close.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. Multiple people. This has happened 100 times in my life. People ask to pet my arm
That's weird.
because they're like they've just never seen that much hair on an arm. Because a lot of those countries, people are very clean,
Right.
and so they will. And like kids, and I mean like 20-year-olds are like, oh. And it's kind of funny. I don't
You
mind
ever,
it all.
you ever
It's
get it
great.
with the beard too? Like it happens with the beard more and more.
Not much.
I mean, my beard.
My mom-
Face
get it all the time.
is the most intimate place. Like I mean, like that's
Sometimes when my
that's
mom's
so
mad
personal.
or thinks like I'm unkept, she will grab my beard, like a fistful of it, and I'm like, Mom, I don't want to punch you, but like you're real close to get. And the problem is it's your mom, so it hurts so bad. So
My
I'm like,
mom is
"Ah,
the best
ah."
person until she grabs my beard.
yeah.
It is weird, like it is something, and she laughs, and I'm like, Mom, you gotta stop doing that. She's like, I'm your mom, I'll do anything I want. And I'm
That's
like,
right.
she's right.
Yeah.
Dang it.
It's so weird because there's nothing better than a great hug. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're like that's I don't know why that's
I can think of a couple things
okay.
better than a great.
I met with somebody I met with somebody that's not
A couple, just a couple.
you know on a different intimacy spectrum.
Two, in fact, exactly two.
Mainly two.
Exactly two.
Actually, there's a couple.
No, there's a lot. But you're right. It's
but a
just
hug
it's
is great.
nuanced.
It's just that weird.
Nuanced.
It is. Oh my gosh. Ding, 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 ding. But it is that I don't know. I think some things are. I don't know. I guess it's just how we grew up. But I don't like anything that feels patronizing at all. And sometimes they're not meaning it.
Like do you need help adjusting the seat?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. Were you in an
Oh,
affectionate...
is that over the line?
Were you... Yeah, that set him off. He's
sorry.
done. Were you in an affectionate family?
Yes. We.
Yeah.
Kissing. Family.
Hug, kiss,
all
like
that.
everything?
That's why.
that's very
That's why
Italian,
some of the
though,
other
right?
stuff. Yeah, but
that's why
again,
it's odd to me.
There's almost like I don't know. There's almost like rules. Like you know what I mean? Like even in that idea, like handshakes, hugs. All
Like
I'm good with all that.
formalities?
But there's certain things where it's like, hey, the hands don't go there.
I
and
just
don't touch me
realized,
like
though,
that.
I think it's who with you.
Yeah, there's a level of intimacy.
But I actually
right?
think Joe could meet. I'm actually thinking this is more of a who that other person is.
Yeah.
Because I've seen you meet people for the very first time and be very intimate with
Very
them.
fine. Yep,
Like
very fine.
very intimate.
Yeah.
Like
Lisa
like,
again.
like the guy messaging Ashley, intimate.
no, that's nobody's getting that intimate. with me. that was on a level. So no joke. At one point, he's telling me crap. And honestly, he was trying to get a rise out of me, which totally worked, by the way. And he's like, "Oh yeah, the time that she and I shared a parka in the rain."
No, he said that. He did say that.
and like went off on the story. It's so good.
Was he joking? He had to be
No,
joking.
no.
No, so
He
apparently
was-
he's got some mental
problems.
disorders that I didn't know about.
He's got problems.
He's got
Oh.
some he's got some.
So Floyd, I want to hear about your 70s, 80s, and 90s.
I think all of the things that Ryan said are accurate. You know, being able to, not have to filter yourself as much, not feeling like not like now.
Do you think part of that was our innocence?
I think it's part of your region too, by the way. I think you guys are.
It could be.
Like the idea, if you're surrounded by predominantly people like you, do you know what I mean? You felt very free. But if you grew up in a very diverse area,
Sure.
that was different. And I do not look back fondly on all the just overt racism that permeated my life. And at the same time, two things coexist. We were surrounded by racism, and then you'd have my buddy, one guy was black, one guy was Cuban, one guy was from a trailer park, and one guy was Italian. And we could talk so openly and honestly about everything, and be so intimate and close. But at the same time, in the greater culture was this crazy amount of racism in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I like the very comfortableness of like, we could just be like, we can laugh at our differences.
Sure.
That was nice. But also at the same time,
There's a lot of
like,
tension.
I didn't like that I'd walk into a room of a bunch of Italians or white people, and all of a sudden it's like racial slurs are flying everywhere, and they're comfortable.
I remember one time I got slammed into a tree and knocked out. Like I got legitimately knocked out.
And bugs covered
In a
everywhere,
fight.
Josh.
Yeah.
And-
She was strong.
And the next thing that happened is the guy wakes me up,
No way.
picks me up, and it was over. That was it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If that happens now and somebody gets knocked out, they continue to stomp
It's
him
a
until he's
On your
viral
face.
It's a video.
Kicking
Yeah, I know.
people in the face
And it
knocked
becomes
out.
a trend.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Crazy.
That stuff that I've seen.
That's horrible.
Really, it's almost like if somebody goes down to the ground, unless you're wrestling,
It's over.
You do kind of back
That's
up.
how it always was growing up.
Yeah, it's weird
In fact,
to see that.
if you jumped on somebody who was out cold, probably everybody beat you up.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
for
It's a cross
sure.
the line.
The people who were with you would probably be turned against
100%.
you.
And then on a more positive note, that time period for me was like the greatest in sports. I mean, sports was
What sports did
different
you
than-
play?
No, I
don't
mean,
think I've ever.
like actually watching.
Oh,
I played
okay.
almost every sport.
Did you really? Like, what sport were
Yeah.
you good at? I've never even
Pickleball.
asked you this.
That sounded a little patronizing.
A little bit.
What sport were you good at?
You want to wrestle, Joe?
Ooh, I like it.
I wrestled. I
gonna
played
tickle you.
football,
But
and
leg
tickle you.
wrestling.
What position did you play in football?
I played nose guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wrestling helps with that, by the way.
Yeah.
Hand
yeah, it
hand
does.
movement. Yeah,
Shoot,
that's
yeah.
good.
I played a little baseball. I was never really great at anything, and by the time that I got to high school, I was more interested in girls than I was in sports, and so
That's why you
grades
got shoved into the tree.
and Clovis. I know it was
She
actually
did not want to be hugged like that.
was
Yeah,
actually
she's
a-
like, I've told you so many times to not grab my head like
Would
this.
you please not put your hand behind my head?
the
I
guy
am your
that did
sister.
it. So I say slammed. I say slammed into the tree is a nice way to say it. This was a big fat kid,
Oh.
and he actually ran at me and slammed me into the tree like that.
I mean,
Why are you fighting in
like
front of a
this
tree?
Well, I was just,
There's so many
It's
issues.
so weird, yeah.
Wait. This is the beginning of
back
not
to
being able to
sports.
dodge a
No.
punch.
So what I
Maybe
mean-
just step to the side.
Oh, he's running at me. And he's
Well, you
just-
don't. Okay, when I got punched in the ear by the woman, that's the last thing you expect to happen in that environment.
No,
and I
first
didn't,
thing I
it's-
expect.
You were new to the
Well,
church.
yes.
You were new
Yeah,
to
I
our,
was
you were new
new
to
to
our
the church.
community.
yeah, you didn't know this area.
We're-
well.
Now guards up all the time.
Yeah, people are like, "Hi, Pastor Joe." I'm like, I
Yeah.
protect my ears immediately.
Okay, so
But I meant sports as in professional sports. I think professional sports were better then.
oh, do you?
Yeah, because you could use all the steroids you wanted to, and
That's
nobody
true.
said anything.
I actually think a lot of this is nuance. A lot of this is perspective and just being. We were naive and young. Like my kids are probably like, dude, we have so much freedom. We run around and do crazy stuff because I'm like, yeah, because I let them.
Dude, well, my parents were, there were 10 of us. So if they lost one, they were fine. So I
Right.
did whatever
So
I
is this
wanted.
is this your like 50s and 60s and 70s experience?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that what we're doing
That's
now?
right.
18.
And so,
The 18s.
that's right.
1850s, 1860s.
Here's something that honestly, not having a phone, like we're like, oh, it'd be so great not to
You're
be attached to
right.
your phone. But the parts where the phone is good, literally all growing up, all the way to going to Great America, one kid in your group gets lost, somebody goes, looks for them.
Yeah.
You are spending the whole day trying to find one person in a theme park.
That's funny. When
Like,
we did youth ministry.
infuriating.
Yeah, when we did youth ministry, it was like meet back at the bus at 11 at
One kid
night.
doesn't.
Always one kid. And you're like, dude, we're 3 hours in now.
All right, we're all going to go look. No, you're staying here.
Yeah,
One
you
of us
can't
will
go look.
Then they show up and like, oh, somebody needs to go find Ryan.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I was usually that kid
Yeah.
because I was going to get that
I was
last
too.
ride in.
I was
I just
too.
had to. I'm like, dude, I don't come here very often.
First
like,
of
I'm
all,
going
I didn't
ride
listen
this
to the
ride.
instructions.
Ever.
I'm going to ride rides. All right, we'll be back here. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to ride rides.
100%.
Yeah,
that is
so-
funny. That I will say though, I just heard somebody talking about this, that it's difficult with things like the phone and social media. They're so bad. They really are so bad.
They're bad for us.
But there are people who can use them fine. And
Yeah,
like
I haven't met that person.
it's actually funny.
It's like, oh, it can be done.
Yeah.
Can you live a sinless life? I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I think you can.
What's funny is I would say that my wife does it better than anyone I know because she has like 1,300 unread messages, like text messages.
Oh, that would give me so much
And I'm
anxiety.
like,
No way.
somebody
Couldn't do it.
texted you,
Yeah,
dude.
couldn't
She's
do
like, was it you? And I'm like, I don't know. and maybe. And I will text her. She won't get back to me for hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she
you guys
doesn't
do Marco
care.
Polo, though, to kind of bypass that.
Marco Polo helps.
Because then it's just one place where she's
Is
looking.
that the video thing?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the video chat. It's amazing because sometimes I get like upset because I'm like, how do you not just always have that phone in your hand? And then I'm like, oh, because she's healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Before call waiting, so yes, I am old.
No, yeah, I remember.
You are like, I can't even tell you, like you're waiting, like you're in high school, you're waiting for a girl to call, or somebody's going to call you.
Yeah.
And not joking, you'll check the phone to see if there's a dial tone.
Yeah.
Because you're worried you're not getting the call. And then you hang it up and you go, did they just try to call when I was picking up the phone, checking the dial
Oh, yeah.
tone?
Well, and the
Like the
classic,
trauma.
the classic being on the phone with a girl and then somebody in the house picking up the phone, being like, "Get out the phone! I need to use it."
I'm on
And
the
you're
phone.
like,
hear him
"But I'm
breathing.
on the phone." Those were
the phone cord
funny
that was
days.
20 feet long, so you could drag it into your
Yeah.
room. Like that stuff is like annoying.
Did you
I'm glad
ever?
that's over.
So I have this like reoccurring memory that kind of haunts me because of how stupid I was when I was a kid. So we're talking like 6th grade, like getting into girls and like girls that I have crushes on.
What?
And we're calling each other, and I'd be on the phone, and I would try and make her think I'm super cool, and I've got like a bunch of friends over, and I would talk to nobody, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, what's up? Yeah, no, okay,
Oh.
totally, man. Sorry, hang on one sec. Yeah. Totally do that with nobody around.
That's
because I
amazing.
wanted her to think I was cool.
It's funny, 'cause I did it.
That's like a real thing that I did.
I did it to get off the phone.
No, she probably
What, Mom?
always was like, dude,
It's
there's
time
no
for dinner.
one there.
He's
Okay,
so
Mom,
busy.
I'll get some dinner.
He's a busy 6th grader.
Why do
oh
you
my
got so many people
God.
at his house?
All the time.
Didn't he know I was calling?
I only did that to get off the phone. That was only my
Yeah, the get off the phone I
trick.
did. That one seems acceptable to me.
Have you ever done
Mine seems embarrassing.
Have you ever done the like you're faking a phone call when you're like walking back the same direction of something?
Oh,
Or-
I so
Dude,
many
that-
times.
I take a
Almost like-
phone call leaving Costco every time. I don't want to be asked if I want to
Yeah.
buy solar.
Yeah.
So I just fake a phone call out of Costco.
Do you really do that all the time?
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable with carnies.
That's an easy one
They're
for me.
Costco
to
just
be
keep
like,
carnies.
walking
to be like, I'm
or just
good,
be like,
man.
no,
Yeah.
thanks.
No, I can't even do it. Like they're just like, I don't even try to make eye contact. I'm like, and looking at your receipt isn't enough anymore.
I try
So now
and be. I'm always because I'm very kind with it because I'm
Yeah.
like, this job would be brutal.
Oh my God.
You have to be so okay with being rejected 37 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever somebody, I'm like, oh, I'm good, man, thank you.
Right.
Like I try. And just
I'm
be
uncomfortable with that. That's like,
Yeah.
It's gotta be
I'm not
good
going to be
commission.
mean. I just want to avoid it.
It's got to be good commission to even want to do that.
I just love
yeah,
when they're
one
like,
out
do you want to get a
100
cell
people.
phone?
nice. I wonder. Yeah.
And I'm always like, who doesn't have a cell phone?
Yeah.
Why are you offering
Hey,
this?
have you heard
I've gotten
about
a cell phone
T-Mobile?
through
I love that one.
Costco.
It's like, have you heard about T-Mobile? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've heard of T-Mobile.
20 years ago, I heard
Yeah.
of T-Mobile.
That small talk about,
You remember Singular
So
Wireless?
good.
So
Speaking of
uncomfortable.
90s.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
Singular.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go with your dad makes it weird. You know what I mean? When you're on the phone, you're like, oh. My buddy's dad, their house basically had no rules. So that's where everybody went and
Yeah.
hung out. And his dad, and I was always an early riser, and he was always going to the bathroom, his morning movement with the door open every day. So I'd walk by.
The dad would?
And he would talk to me. So
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, what's up, Joe?
he called me Butch. He's like, no, that's what was happening. He's like, what's up, Butch? And I called him Shorty because he was like 6'9". I'm like, what's up, Shorty? And so we just have this weird conversation every morning while he's doing his
hilarious.
business.
Talk to
So I think I think that began my not wanting to talk to carnies. I'm
That's
like,
funny.
It's like a toilet experience. You know what? I'm just trying to walk by. That's all I'm trying to do right now. Literally just trying to get from here to the kitchen.
Is that what's the last super uncomfortable situation you've been in?
Oh, that's good. Trying to think of the last time someone tried to touch my head while I was being hugged.
Right.
up.
I haven't been tickled in a long time.
I also just
I
realized
might punch somebody if they tickled me.
that you get to cut out all the dead air, so I don't mind thinking about
No,
it.
it's fine.
I like that my thinking's going to create work for you. I like it.
Yeah, it's
Good. The car accident I had, that was super uncomfortable.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It's weird. We both backed into each other. I think I felt just stupid.
That is such a weird one because no one's at fault because both of you are at fault. But she tried to basically say you were. She's like, "Didn't you see me?"
And
Right?
I resisted saying, "Didn't you see me?"
Right.
I did, but it still was like super like. And I just said, it's just an accident. We'll just exchange information. That's all I said. Like, it's an accident. It's no big deal.
So what happens in that scenario? Do both insurance companies cover your vehicle?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
It's a no fault.
You don't
waiver.
cover each other's vehicle.
Nope.
Your insurance covers your own.
And I didn't use my insurance. I just paid for it out of
Yeah,
pocket.
yeah. Because insurance.
But that was
is
awkward.
horrible.
It really was. Like, hi, this is how we've met, with our cars smashing into each other. So
That's funny that mine wasn't, I didn't feel uncomfortable, but it was so confusing when the dude ran into the back of my car. I was parked and he just bumped the back of my car. And I got out and was like, dude, he's like, what's up? I go, you just hit my car. He goes, did I? I'm like, is this a joke right now? Like, it was so funny because I'm like, what do you mean, did you? Like, it was the weirdest. And I had to explain and he had to get out and I'm like, look. And there was just a little thing, but it's still something. He goes, oh man, I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
Like, I felt it. I was in the car. I felt it.
Actually,
It was
recently,
hysterical.
so recent uncomfortable thing was I was walking off the mug. I get in my car and I opened my door and I wasn't paying attention. I was putting my bag down.
Oh.
And, dink, I hit there's a truck next to me, and it wasn't like it was an older truck. It was like probably a 2000s or 90s.
So it's okay for you
And,
to
ruin somebody else's.
Yeah.
His
But I'm
restored
sitting there and I'm
vehicle.
like, I heard it and I go, oh. So I'm trying to think, do I have business cards? Like, do I have a pen and paper? Just write
Yeah.
my number or something? Because I had to get going. And I sat there for a couple minutes. I'm like, okay. So I kind of prayed about it. Like, do I leave? What do I do? Do I sit
Did you
here?
do damage?
see a mark?
And so,
Did you do damage?
tiny little ding. Because
Okay.
my car's orange.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I could see a little orange mark, and she had
Okay.
kind of a brown truck. Lady starts walking out of one of the businesses.
Oh.
And I'm like, you're kind of doing that little hunt, like,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it theirs? Oh, I gotta get going. Is it them? Oh. And then she walks over. It's her truck. And this was uncomfortable because now it's like, wait, how do I approach her?
Yeah.
And so I
Usually charge. That's usually
Sprint as fast
usually
as you
charge
can.
I
in that
literally,
scenario.
Yeah.
I got out of the car and I walked, made sure I was like 8 paces away.
Yeah.
I'm like, hi. And she like, huh? And she rolls down her window and I walk around and like, hi, I dinged your truck. I opened my door. I wasn't paying attention. I don't really know what to do now other than tell you. And she's like, oh, she gets out and looks. She goes, oh, okay. Yeah, have you seen my truck? And it was like a work truck.
really?
And it's got a bunch of dings and paint.
Oh, so she-
Yeah,
okay.
but I didn't want to be just drive away. That would have bothered me all day. And she goes, oh, well, that's very sweet of you. But yeah, you can ding my truck anytime.
Oh.
Oh, wow. That situation changed so fast.
Yo, that I feel like.
But it was super. The uncomfortable part was me figuring out like how to approach her. Hi, ma'am, hi.
Yeah. It's funny. This stays in the car hitting zone, but somebody hit and ran on Ashley's car, ran into it, and then it's funny because I don't know how people don't know Teslas have cameras all around them recording all the time.
I didn't know it until you told me.
Yeah, that we have all this footage of her getting out of she clearly hits it, getting out of the car, looking at the damage, calling somebody, 5 minutes of her talking on the phone, laughing and like looking at the damage and laughing. And then she gets in the car and drives off.
And they don't catch her license plate. It
My
catches
gosh.
everything but the plate.
It catches everything but the plate, but then the school had security footage of the license plate. So they found her. The cops had to go to her house.
Oh, I didn't hear the follow-up.
Oh, yeah. So they got the number of the guy, and I guess they talked to the dad. So it was a student at the school that she teaches at. It cracked me up because I get the guy's phone number, and they're like, what do we do? And I said, well, let me call him and see what happens. So I call him, and I'm like, hey, man, like, it's been a little bit. I'm trying to get an estimate, but the car's wrapped. And so I'm like, the main thing is that the wrap got scratched, so I have to replace the wrap, but they don't have that in stock, and they can't order it because of all the shortage, so I don't have a price for you. And he's like, well, I mean, I don't know if it was damaged that much. And I don't know what happened, but I lost it.
Oh.
And lost it for me. I mean, it wasn't, I go, you don't know how much damage it was. I go, I don't even care about the damage. Your daughter hit my car and left without leaving a note. I go, I don't even give a rip if it was just a tiny little scratch. I go, I don't know what you think you're raising, right? And I'm like, oh, and he goes, hey, man. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. You're right. I go, I kind of lost my temper there. I am so sorry. I go, you sound like a good guy. How do you want to handle this? But it was so funny because it was just he just immediately, blew it off a little bit. It's what it felt like. And it was so funny because even in that moment, I'm like, oh, you're not blowing this off. And
I'm
like,
judging your parenting now.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was like, calm down, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I seriously, and I apologize like crazy because he really wasn't. He was just saying, like, I haven't even seen it. Like, how bad is the damage? And I'm like, the damage doesn't matter. And he goes, that was me on the phone with her. I told her to leave a note. And so he's like, so we kind of went back and forth. And he's a great dude. But I'm like, oh, I felt dumb because I got real. And I felt so uncomfortable because I got mad. Like, why am I getting mad at this? Because even if he was like, F you, I'm not paying a dime, I'm like, all right, well, that's life.
There's no reason to get mad, and yet there's a reason to get mad.
Right.
Somebody committed a crime, and you're approaching it saying, like, I'm not pursuing the crime. I'm just pursuing getting my car fixed. Because basically, you fled the scene, and you hope to never pay for my car. And I'm now just calling up saying, hey, I caught you. No problem, though. I just want the car repaired. And so when you're like, I don't know what the damage is, like, you're already on the line of being like, I'm trying to do the right thing.
I was trying to be
All
kind.
you need to say is, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, here's my insurance. That's the only response
Which
you were looking for.
he did eventually say, and he's like, man, just get me a quote. I'll give you. He's like, if I have to go through insurance, I will. But he's like, I can just send you money. And I'm like, oh, I gotta calm down. I gotta not be on the edge like this.
Yeah.
No, that one would be because they were trying to get out of it, so you're already miffed.
It's weird because I'm like, I don't think he was. I think she. And then I realized she's in high school.
She's a kid.
She panicked a little bit. It was whatever. But then it was irritating to see her laugh. I'm like, what are you laughing at right now? Like, you just ran into somebody's car. What are you laughing at? Again, I'm getting upset about the dumbest stuff. That's such a small thing. So I don't know. It was funny.
What was the question?
Last time
you
you
asked
super
when
uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was
Floyd?
I'm not self-aware enough to get that uncomfortable.
So getting punched was a fine experience for you.
No, actually, I think the last time I was super uncomfortable was I still deal with the identity issues, right? You guys have been in it a lot longer than I have. You've found that a lot longer than I did. And so I'm still working through that process. It was actually you and I, when I was in Costco and you said something and I said something, and then I was trying to have a conversation in Costco. I wasn't articulating myself well. And I upset you. And it was really based upon trauma from my past.
Yeah.
And that whole situation made me uncomfortable. But the cool thing is when you are around people that genuinely love you and you can just sit down and have a conversation about it.
Sure.
And so now I just talk about everything.
When you find those people, let me know.
Yeah, it's Joe.
He knows. He's picking right.
Exactly. That's the type of discomfort. You hate it when you're in it, but it's so healthy. It's so healthy to be like, so why am I what is it about this? In fact, most discomfort, if we're honest, if you can stop and be a little introspective, you go, oh, it's because my identity's in the wrong place. Or because because I'm on the edge and something else is making me upset, but I'm not dealing with the actual thing that's making me upset.
Right.
So it's interesting.
And I actually used that situation to go on and write. I wrote about it, like comparing it to debreeding a wound, and that's what you're having to do. You have to scrape through all that old crap to let the wound heal.
Yeah, because the guy I work with is wounding me all the time. So that's good. Yeah, it's good to talk about it. I think every small talk experience makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Every street performer. I'm finally not
street performers,
weird over. I would get off the stage from preaching, and people they'd want to meet somebody new, or I'm the worst. I've actually realized I've gotten better at this. I don't know what it is, but people will be like, hey, I'm new to the church. I'm like, oh, you're new to the church? Okay, wow, great. So glad to talk to you. How'd you hear about it? So what's going on? We really like that shirt. Like those shirts. I don't know why I'm talking so fast. I don't know what's happening. I'm still hyped up. Yeah, I don't know what that is, and I've gotten so much better at it. But I would just I'd want to avoid people after I preach. I'm like, I'm going to be horrible, and I don't know how to stop it.
How funny.
Now I'm just more like, what's up?
Joe in an elevator, though, is still kind of funny because he doesn't like small talk at all. And it's the only thing you have time for in an elevator.
Yeah.
So Joe in an elevator is hilarious.
You know what else you have time for? Being quiet. There's no reason to talk.
There's something about an elevator. Just there's so much possibility. There's so much opportunity to do something funny,
dude. I love small talk so much. It's weird.
Or to make someone laugh, or have. I don't know why. It's something.
I don't actually understand. I actually think I might be socially awkward because I enjoy small talk so much. Because I just am like, what am I gonna? Dude, dude, when I bought something at the grocery store on the way here, and the woman that was checking me out, you know what I mean?
Whoa.
No.
Whoa.
She drove a truck?
She drove a truck. Yeah.
Shit.
She's like, hey.
Remember that time?
Yeah.
She's like, you ever shared a parka with someone?
Yeah. And so she said, because I bought a bunch of soda, am I the only one that buys like in bulk as often as I can?
No, that's
Yes,
that's
we've
an
talked
inaccurate
about this.
description.
Yeah.
No, that's an inaccurate description.
Is it?
Yeah.
People don't buy pallets of soda.
Yeah.
That's not bulk.
I
No.
never
You have a
want to
small
go to
business.
I don't want to go to the store. So if I'm there, I'm like, I'm getting it all. I'm buying all of it.
Ryan's
You'll buy like
definition of
32 liters.
Yeah, Ryan's definition of buying in bulk is buying everything the store has.
Yeah. And I leave. I left 2 today because I was like, what if
Classy.
somebody else wants them?
Progress.
I didn't buy them all.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because she's like, oh, are you thirsty? Which, like, if you want to start an annoying conversation, that's the way to do it.
I love that.
But I wasn't annoyed at all. And I was like, you know what? You got to stay hydrated. And I literally am like, I got like 13 seconds to make this woman's day. I can ruin it by
love
being a
that.
jerk, or I can try and have fun. And so I'm like having a good time. And then I left and I just kept thinking, like, I hope she has a brighter day because of me.
Yeah.
I hope her day's
Hope
better.
you have a neat day.
Hope you have a neat day. And then I threw a 2-liter at her on my way out. Right in the back of the head. Just wow.
Those kind of like be a little more clever, like because when we did the
Oh, people are not clever, Floyd. I have learned that a lot. Like, people will say the one thing that they know they shouldn't say. That's what they say.
all of the candy at Costco when we do the trunk or treats.
Yeah.
We get 30 people on the way out going, "Are you guys having an event?"
Or
we're just
they'll
really
say stuff
hungry.
like, "You guys really like candy."
Yeah.
You
You
got a
go to
sweet
Sweet
tooth?
Tooth, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
They're like, you're dying of diabetes. I'm like, I like this guy.
You know what? I like.
this-
You're clever. You
You
like.
can come with us.
Why are you looking at my feet? I'm just
Yeah.
making sure you got both of them.
That I would actually really enjoy.
I like being friendly,
Yeah.
but I don't want to get into small talk. I would much rather, I always say this, but I'd much rather someone be like, hey, it's going to rain today. I'm like,
I love it.
I want to die. But if they're like, I'm in an elevator and they're like, yeah, my loved one just died. I'm like, I'm in. Let's talk about it. I'm here.
Ashley's the same way.
I'm
so
like-
Ashley doesn't like small talk.
I'm in. I'm like, anything of
Yeah.
depth, I'm like, I don't know you. Maybe I can help.
She's the exact same way. She would love to, like, if it's a traumatic situation, she's like, I'm in there with you.
I'm in.
Like, it's amazing.
How can I talk? Here's my card. Call me
Yeah.
later. I'll help you. Do you have another Ask Reddit? What are we looking at time-wise?
You are granted one wish, but what you wish will. But what you wish for.
What?
will-
What happened?
My reading is bad. You're granted one wish, but what you wish for will deprive all people of it. What do you wish for?
Awesome.
Wow.
Love. Oh.
Oxygen. No? Is that not the right answer? Wow. Your wish will deprive every. Shoot.
No, I'm good with this, actually.
Are you sticking with happiness? Because that
I
is
said
actually
love.
a
I said love.
love.
The whole world is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I
we're
got
so
it. I'm doing
miserable.
fine. I'm doing fine.
They're like, I wish you said oxygen. This is worse.
Wow. Deprives everyone else.
What am I that selfish about?
I'm trying to think, like,
There's a couple things I could do this with.
I need to hear.
So it's one wish, but I guess some of the stuff you don't have to wish for, you could just go get. So I guess that has to be big enough.
Yeah,
This
but
is
it
too
deprives
small.
everybody else is the problem.
Right, but I'm saying, like, if I pick something small that I could just go get, why would I deprive everybody of a thing I
Like
could
what,
just
though?
go?
What would it be?
I was thinking Portillo's. And I'm like, but I don't need to deprive the world of Portillo's. I can just go buy Portillo's.
But
I
it
don't need
would
to
be-
wish
Well,
for it.
Joe, this is about wishes.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a
I know.
hypothetical.
I know. That's what.
But it's more of the, like,
oh.
honestly, Portillo's.
Like, so you would only have access to
No,
Portillo's.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make sense because I should pick something that I can't get. That's why I need to wish for it.
And
Oh,
it's,
really? I don't think that.
It's hard for me to imagine Joe doing that because the greatest thing about Portillo's to Joe is watching other people experience it.
It really is.
It is true.
It
So my buddy that we hung out with in Southern California when we were there, we told about Portillo's. He texted me and was like, what was the name of that restaurant again? And so I sent him and I was like, okay, dude, I'm so happy for you right now. And then I told him all the stuff again. I was so happy. Like, I'm in your shoes now. I
It's
just
so
love it
great.
so much. It's so great.
So what's something? Okay,
The
one
thought
wish.
of depriving people of things is
So-
weird.
I
Yeah.
think at the Dragon episode.
Yeah, edit.
Okay.
You got a lot of work.
Dragon's fine. No, that feels right though.
That was good.
I was thinking, so like two ways, dark humor wise, I was thinking like life or something.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking cancer. Like I'd
You
be
wish
like-
for cancer?
And then on the other side, I'd be like, yeah, I'd wish for cancer if no one else could get it.
Oh wow, you went super like.
Dude,
I was
noble.
thinking two ways.
But I'm
selfishly
impressed.
and
That's a good thought.
selfishly
Would you,
and like, would you? Yeah.
If you Yeah, man. If that was the thought, if I could take one for the team like that and no human gets
But
cancer
right
again,
now, like no later on in life, it's now.
are you benevolent enough right now?
This is like shows what Jesus did.
Shoot.
Honestly, this is God Jesus like level where you're like, I'm going to do this
What
for
if
the
I
whole
could?
world.
Could I choose the type of cancer?
Then other people would get the other types of
Oh
cancers.
shoot! All cancer.
Yeah, I was thinking like, I'd be with Jesus, and
Well,
then
I
no one
like
else
that
would
you
get
even
cancer.
thought it.
I
like that you
actually,
even thought
I'm
it.
super impressed that your mind went there.
Yeah, I did not.
I was also thinking like, I don't know, water.
Well, you don't need to wish for water. That's what I'm saying. Like you could just
Yeah,
get
right,
water.
right.
I know that's why it's even more mean.
Yeah.
Because
You had it?
you're like, yeah, it was not a big deal. I just
Oreos.
I wanted more. Yeah, you're like, dude,
Mom, where'd they all go?
spend $4.
Guy down the street has them all.
All right, what do you guys got? What are you thinking?
I mean, let's take the benevolency out of it because that might be the coolest thing I've ever thought.
Yeah, that's the best version of it.
Because I'm like, dude, here's one of the funny things is I'm like, oh my gosh, you'd be such a hero. But then I always laugh when people talk about legacy and being a hero because I'm like, yeah, you're dead. You don't care.
No, it doesn't
you
matter.
don't even know.
But I'm
5
respected. No,
years-
you're not. You're dead. Nobody
In 5
cares.
years, nobody remembers that cancer existed. and that-
100%.
and that you did it.
The next generation.
That's
is like,
why it's so benevolent because you're doing it just because that's good.
Isn't that
Because you're
crazy?
not getting credit for this.
No, that's pretty amazing.
My mind goes to it's got to be something that doesn't exist. That way, if I'm depriving people of it, it doesn't exist anyway. Like when I said
No,
dragon,
that's not a
I
thing.
wish for a dragon.
right? It doesn't ever exist anyway.
But
So
no one else would get. Yeah, that's
Good,
right.
so it already doesn't
'Cause then
exist.
It's like they're already
So I'm
deprived.
not, they're already deprived. I'm just
Nobody-
Yeah,
joining
but
in.
once you get, you have the only dragon, you're now a warlord.
You rule
Because I am using this dragon.
Or you're dead. Like,
Yeah,
I want a
just
dragon.
eats you. That was a bad wish.
Wait, I needed to say a dragon that I'm soul bonded with or something.
Yeah. It's funny because my first thought, I was like, clothes. I'm the only one that gets to wear clothes. Like a really sweet, like I have the best shoes all
Here's
the time.
the
But I'm
weirdest
like, but
part of that.
everybody else needs
After a
shoes.
while, you're the weirdo. Why aren't you just
100%.
comfortable with your nakedness, man? Why are you walking around with clothes
100%.
on?
Yeah,
It
what
wouldn't
are you
take long
ashamed
for you
of?
to be like, yeah, you're the shame guy.
Yeah, what are
Look
you
at this guy
ashamed of?
wearing a couch.
How
What has
long
he
would
got
it
on
take
him?
if everyone was naked? How long would it take? Are you just like,
A year and you're the shame guy,
no. I'm saying, how long would it take for you to just finally strip naked?
and then ruin your wish.
Like, how comfortable are you with being naked around everybody?
Yeah.
Well,
You are?
No, it would take me time, but I'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'd be comfortable.
I think it's
At
weird.
some
It
point,
might take
it wouldn't
me
be.
a
It'd take a
little
long time.
That'd be awkward.
Oh.
But everybody else is naked,
You're the
so-
only one that knows they're naked.
I genuinely can't think of something.
Wow.
Because I can't. I think it's because you ruined me with the cancer one.
Oh.
But any item, because I'm thinking of only physical things, and any item I'm like, I would hate to deprive the world of.
Well, what's funny is
Oh, I got
in the
one. I
like
got one.
depriving others of it. Oh, go ahead.
Mine would be to be a trillionaire.
Is there anyone a trillionaire right now?
Nope, there is not. They actually thought the NFT guy, the guy who got busted.
Yeah,
there were people saying he was going to be the first trillionaire, and then he got busted and sent to prison.
So now my big crime against the world is you only get to be billionaires. Ooh,
Or
boo-hoo.
approaching.
No, I actually like that. I think
Like,
that might
that's
be
the
the
worst
good
thing
one.
I'm doing to you is you only get to
I
be
think,
billionaires.
but then that same thought was anything I was thinking of a potential wish that people already don't have. So I'm not. It doesn't change anything if I'm depriving them of it. So my brain was like, oh, I want something that would qualify as they feel deprived of it. So I was
So
thinking.
you went from being so benevolent to being
Yeah.
like, no, I want
I
them
told
to feel
you I
my
was
wish.
thinking.
No,
I
he's
told you I
back
said
and
I thought
forth.
2 ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought invincibility. I'm like, no one's invincible.
Okay.
But I'm like, but then they're not. That's not depriving them of anything
Because
Like,
it
they're-
doesn't already exist.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of hard to think about.
Okay. What do you do with your invincibility? You're still. I want you working at Costco being invincible.
I wouldn't wake up
I
with
couldn't
a
make any
sore
money
back.
with this, but I am invincible.
It would be
I bag
so,
groceries.
I have thought forever that would be so much fun. You're just impervious to anything. That would be so much fun.
Question though, if you're invincible, can you get a haircut?
No, cannot get a haircut.
So your hair is tougher than anything in
Right.
the world.
Yeah. Remember?
It has to be.
And
It's
like
got to be
Superman-
Superman. It's got to be Superman-ish.
They tried to. They didn't
gotta
try to
be
cut her hair.
Superman.
No, they tried to like
Use a needle.
put a syringe in.
Yeah,
or
the,
something. Yeah.
the syringe.
Yeah, you can't. You gotta. That has to be all of it. It has to go. We have to do it consistently. You can't cut your hair, so you have the same haircut for the rest of your life.
I'm intrigued. Your eyebrows would just get out of whack at the old
I wonder-
get.
Well, here's the funny part is, does
because
it grow?
Aging,
Would you
because
still age?
Growing is like aging, right?
Yeah. So does it still grow? I don't think it grows.
No, because you wouldn't if you were truly invincible. Because aging is your cells
You don't.
mutating.
Other
Right.
part
And
is
so
you don't
that wouldn't
eat.
happen.
You don't need to eat, right? Because you're invincible. You're impervious to starvation.
Just for fun, though.
I want to eat though.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you could still eat though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need to.
Would
though.
you get full? Would you get full to the point where it's like painful?
Oh, Oh my gosh, this sounds so much fun.
Yeah.
I
don't
never.
I think invincible.
I think you could eat yourself where you're throwing up, but it's not going to kill you. But it would just it's too much in there, and you'd have to.
But would I throw up?
To overeat because you're still a
Because
limited
throwing up,
vessel.
your body is expelling it because you're harming yourself.
Well, not harm. It could just be too much. It's just too much in that
It
vessel.
sounds so dumb. I would just be so much fun to have somebody like swing a baseball bat at you as
Yeah.
hard as they could, and you just stand there.
No,
and
no.
be like, bink.
Why would I always thought this? You're still going to get knocked down because it's still the momentum. It's not like you've become a statue that's planted in the ground. It is going to hit you. It'll move your physical mass, but
Like,
it's not going to hurt you.
Well, it could move you a little bit. Like it'd be fun to like, get hit by a bus and just go flying and hop right
you're
back
definitely
up.
going flying.
Your,
Right.
your clothes get torn. That's
Yeah,
it. That's it.
The
Now
weirder
back to the
part
naked conversation.
is this is the what was that? It was actually a Charlize Theron movie on Netflix. Do you remember
The
this
Old
one?
Guard.
The Old Guard. But
what they did to them was terrible.
dude, and that's the problem is you go, yeah, you're invincible, which means that if we put you in a coffin and throw you into the ocean, dude, I literally was traumatized for that by a while. I was like, oh no.
Wait.
They locked her in a metal coffin and
threw her in the ocean.
sunk her in an
I
ocean.
haven't thought about.
So you're just
you're just there
constantly-
alive forever.
There
And
is
they keep, well, the worst part was they would die but come back.
Yeah, theirs was they would drown.
That's
They just
immortality,
continued.
So they
though.
kept, yeah, exactly. So they kept dying. And so this for
Yours,
hundreds
you could just
of years
drink
or
water.
something.
You could just breathe water.
I don't know if you could just breathe water.
Because
I would
water
know.
can't kill you.
I
You
wouldn't
would
breathe
choke.
water. I wouldn't drown though.
Oh, okay.
Invincibility
So
is
the downside to this is real bad.
yeah.
Yeah. it
And I
really
don't
is.
think it's worth it.
No,
I've
the
thought about this.
trillionaire wins.
Trillionaire might be the best answer.
Because you're
But
like,
if you're invincible, you can become a trillionaire.
no, you can't. You can bag groceries.
You just rob everyone.
Gosh, constantly. But then
no,
they
put you
eventually
in a
catch
coffin.
you.
They catch you. You're not strong.
They will catch you.
in the-
can
you.
punch your way out of
in the water.
No,
But
you're not strong.
But you're not
though.
strong. You get
You're
like
just
6 guys
invincible.
can still take
Like
you.
you're
just don't get
invincible,
hurt.
but you still punch like Josh.
Okay.
Oh, that was a mean.
Over
No, it was
three,
meant to
over
be.
that
three,
was crossing
it was
the
meant
line.
to
over
be.
3 years, I just punched my way out of the.
You're not punching your way out of
digging.
jack.
I'm digging with my fingernails, which are invincible, and I'm going to dig my way through.
Ooh, but your fingernails. Oh, because your
That's what I'm
fingernails
saying.
are now the hardest
Like you're
thing on
invincible.
earth.
That's true. That's possible. But he's
Yeah.
still Josh. He's not strong.
I'm not gonna.
the hell
I'm not
are we
gonna punch a
talking
hole in the
about?
wall.
But if they just bind you, like, or put you in,
Yes. Yeah, they bind you.
You're in trouble. The bottom line is you are in trouble.
I'd still wish for it.
I know it almost seems worth it.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing: is I think you almost have to not tell people that you're invincible in that
That's the
scenario.
key.
You have to act like a human, and then like if
But
you're gonna
when
go,
do you like?
Oh, you use it. I would use it pretty often. People would know real fast that I am. I
Yeah.
just wouldn't tell.
Like
them.
that's the fun part in a lot of shows. It's like the reveal.
Yeah.
And and good shows will build up to it. They won't just let it happen.
I love that people be like, "Oh my gosh, you're invincible." You know what we could do with you? We could. Actually, you're kind of worthless. I don't really know how you could help us at all.
Just let me live my life.
Yeah, I don't really know. And if you try to rob anything, we're gonna bind you.
And I don't have to look for traffic. I can just keep walking. I don't care.
No, no.
Exactly.
You keep doing that and getting people hurt. We're binding you and throwing you in a coffin and throwing you in the ocean. You
because people are
stop
getting
that.
hurt. You would have to join the military.
You'd have to be a weapon for the military.
You'd have to be a weapon.
Otherwise,
So again, it's just me.
You
well, now you got guns.
I'm not the most
now you-
formidable weapon.
Well, here's
no,
the
no, no.
thing: is
You
now
go
you got
in.
guns.
You go in first with like serious artillery.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what, and you'd be just kind of the tip of the spear all
Yeah.
the
That's
time.
where you're effective.
And
Because the
That's where
crew is
effective.
still there to save you.
You
like, if
literally
you
could
get
walk
caught.
in a nuclear weapon somewhere. Just hold it.
Oh, like disarming bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sure, I'm in.
Okay.
Nuclear plants like meltdown and stuff. I'll just walk in and
Walking
take care of
around.
it. Kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would anybody pay you for this skill?
The military would.
Yeah.
The
that's
military
thing.
would
And
actually.
I
actually feel
become a
you'd be set.
trillionaire.
No,
Boom.
you're not. Do you know what the military pays? You're not becoming a trillionaire.
I don't know what the military pays a guy who's invincible and doesn't get hit by
You know what they
bullets.
pay you is they said you can either do this or we can bind you and put you in a coffin and throw
You're
you in
like,
the
gosh,
ocean.
dang it.
That's your
Joe's
options.
really into
I think Trillionaire still wins.
Yeah.
But because Trillionaire is awesome.
and then benevolent taking cancer was pretty good.
Taking cancer, it's just, that's too good.
That's too good.
You're just wonderful.
Yeah, and no one will care in a month.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually think people would care a lot. I think you'd be remembered for a lot.
No, but I
What's his
wouldn't.
statue
But you
look
wouldn't
like?
tell anyone. It's not like you're. Because there are horrid forms of cancer.
I think he's the horrid statues.
No, but I wouldn't tell anyone. You wouldn't tell anyone because the moment you get all the cancers, you're gonna die like instantly.
What's funny is I was thinking it depends on how this all works.
Maybe your small circle
Again,
might know.
This is very nuanced because if you got all the cancer, you die instantaneously.
Right.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
even suffer.
No.
No.
But if it's like you're getting cancer, you're just depriving the rest of the world of it, so you're still going to suffer for years or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. But even then, you're right, where it's like, sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's still totally worth it.
It would suck, but it's like, oh yeah.
Curing diseases is the best. That'd be so good.
Yeah,
Just
because
fix the world.
one-
Ooh,
there's a way
hunger.
to-
You could go benevolent with like hunger.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Or just taking what if all disease? Ooh, that gets nuanced too.
Oh, gosh.
The population would explode.
all disease.
The population
Yeah.
would boom.
Yeah, we'd probably have to go into some sort of a purge like government at that point. We need population control.
If you're
You
invincible,
basically,
you can't get
basically are
purged.
the origin story of the purge.
That was such a dumb movie.
I never
that
saw it.
That I kind of enjoyed the
Oh,
first
I
one.
love the first one.
I know. I didn't want to.
I didn't want to either, but
It got dark.
Yeah.
It got real weird too.
No,
It got uncomfortable.
It's crazy.
Is this recording? So we just had a massive malfunction that we didn't know about until after we went to upload all the files or download all the files. That up and down thing, that gets me.
Transfer.
Transfer. That's what we were doing. We weren't uploading or downloading.
This
we were
is
transferring.
this is the material we're hoping to keep people back interested.
Yeah.
Right.
Talking
Yep.
about files.
So it got so messed up. We just found out my camera didn't record at all,
Which everybody's happy about.
which I actually is the benefit to
That
this
helps.
episode. This will be
This'll
by
be-
far the best episode.
It'll be the
Yep.
most watched.
And then the middle camera froze.
Which again, the joy is growing. For
It's
our
getting
audience.
better. This whole episode is just a tight shot on Joe.
You are welcome.
Yeah.
You're all welcome.
So this is for all the people out there.
No, why not go meaner?
You like that?
No,
Did you
I
like
didn't
that?
like that.
No, it was for the people.
For all the people with cataracts.
It's
and,
no. This is for the masses. Out of the three of us, most humans would rather stare at you.
A larger
I was gonna say-
demographic.
I thought you were going to say something else. I think for the masses, they can relate to a fatherly old man.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, I like that's where you thought that was
Yeah.
going.
No, not. I know where you thought I was going, and I don't want you to say it. Where would you have gone with that? Because I know what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say to like ponytail.
Okay.
You can't
okay.
you can't see the man bun though today. He's got it lower.
Yep.
I was actually gonna say like most people want to stare at a leather bag.
No.
That's what I was gonna say.
Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, that's
Louis
not
Vuitton's
where I'm
huge.
going either.
Louis Vuitton's huge.
Louis Vuitton. Yeah. They're
Makes sense.
big.
I should just get that LV tattooed on the side of my face.
You know,
Yeah.
I have always found it so odd when people get brands tattooed.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy.
just super
and
weird.
a lot of people
If you had to
have that.
tattoo a brand, which one do you think would last the longest?
What do you mean last the longest?
Meaning, like, be relevant in 50 years. If you tattooed a brand, what's your?
Nike.
Oh,
You
that's
just get
not
the Nike
bad.
swish on your chest, and then you
you're
walk around
Hey,
shirtless.
hey, Josh, how you liking where Floyd's microphone is? Just curious. It's been in his nose this whole
It is
time.
not. I'm sitting up on it.
I think it's.
Maybe
I think
not.
it's so. I was gonna say which one would you get? Like if you had to get a brand, but the relevant one is interesting.
Yeah, like what's going to stick? Or like what would be where people are going to look at it in 50 years and be like, what's that?
Like
What's Louis Vuitton?
I'd get like British Petroleum.
Okay.
I don't even know if they're still around.
BP. I don't think BP.
BP?
Not in the U.S.
I think they got. I think they
don't
got
they
in
own
trouble.
Sinclair?
Exxon.
Exxon?
I was gonna say
After
a
the
gas
Valdez?
company would still be around,
No.
but then I was like, oh, maybe
I like
not.
the idea of getting a brand that's already extinct. That's
agree.
actually a really good idea.
Like Izod.
Yeah.
I'd get an Izod.
Izod's still
tattoo.
around, though.
Are they really?
Izod's
Are they still around?
Yeah.
Lacoste.
Lacoste. Oh, that's right.
Lacoste
Yeah.
is still around
Yeah.
as well.
I'd get Fender.
Oh, well, that's Izod, isn't it?
Oh, you know
They're
what?
both around.
Fender?
That's unfair
But it's
because
same thing, yeah.
musicians can get
You
music
cheat.
tattoos and be fine.
Yeah, because it's classic.
Yeah, it's not as
Fender's gonna
weird.
last forever.
Yeah.
I actually like.
Unfortunately.
I've seen a lot of musicians get that old school microphone.
Yeah,
And
the
I'm
shirt.
like, that actually looks cool. Yeah, that is actually a good.
What's the
looking
most
tattoo.
popular brand? Meth. Like I could do. Does that have a brand? Do those have logos? Or
I don't
icons?
think so.
It's blue.
It's just blue. Okay. tight.
That was a great ad. I can't. Yeah, I would just feel so weird about getting. I don't like.
And you got to
wearing-
get on your face, by the way.
Yeah.
This is on your face.
Like even having like Adidas and stuff. Like I don't like it. I'd rather not wear brand named anything.
I'm wearing Rick and Morty today.
What brand are your shoes right now?
I think these are Reeboks.
Did Cleetwood brand shame you for not wearing
Okay.
Adidas
These are
shoes?
Nikes.
Listen,
These are
wearing
Nikes.
Thursdays.
branded shoes matter because your feet matter. Like you want to buy quality for your feet. That's what really matters about
You're
shoes.
so right. That's
the main point
That
of
is
it.
a shift I made. There's a couple of shifts I made when I got older, and I was like, why am I like one? This sounds really silly, but socks and underwear.
Nope. I just bought like
Constantly-
the nicest underwear I've ever bought in my life, and I'm like, why have I waited 50 years to
Dude,
do
it
this?
is such a. And the minute the elastic or something starts to wear out,
done.
I'm done.
Gone.
Like
Yep.
I don't know why I was holding on to stuff for
I have
so long.
8 pairs of good underwear right now, and I feel
isn't
like a
that the
millionaire.
be- yeah.
I'm like,
Not
oh
a
my
trillionaire?
gosh. No.
Socks,
That's a wish.
Socks are another one one, and this is probably within the last 4 months.
Yeah.
I made a switch in socks. What's the most you've ever spent on socks?
Oh,
I haven't done it
don't
yet.
ask.
I don't.
You haven't done it?
I've spent about $15 on one pair.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I've spent about $32 on a pair.
Dang, what pair was that?
It was some type of Italian wool socks.
Oh,
when I
It was
going up
made
to
from
Idaho.
Italian children.
Yeah.
So that's.
wool
I
socks
I switched over to, I pretty much only wear Stance socks now. And you can find them for about 10 to $12 a pair, but they're all about $20 a pair.
Not sponsored.
And I think I think it's stupid. Like, it's dumb, but they don't fall down. They stay exactly where they're at. They're crazy comfortable. And I went, you know what? I'm an adult, for crying out loud.
You just did a commercial, so I feel like I should sing their song. You can stance if you want to. You can leave your socks behind.
I did the same thing recently with pajama bottoms.
Made a song out of them.
Steph
minute.
bought me a pair of pajama bottoms for.
You wear pajamas?
That's exactly where I didn't know you wear pajamas.
Before I go to bed, I wear pajamas.
I thought you slept naked.
I
thought
do.
You were a naked sleeper.
I am a naked sleeper.
So wait,
You sleep naked
to
in your
change
pajama
out of your
bottoms.
clothes,
No,
into pajama bottoms.
He's naked in his pajamas. Josh is
He's
right.
not wrong.
We're always
He's
naked
not
in our
wrong.
clothes.
We're
I'm
always
naked right now.
We're always naked.
Yeah, I go home and get comfortable. I don't stay in jeans and stuff all day. So I go home and I'll put on sweats. I love pajama bottoms. And Steph got me these pajama bottoms, and I can't even remember the brand, but it's a moose
They're
is the
called
logo.
pants instead of stance.
And they're jogger style.
Moo Moo Melon.
And they're, no.
That's trying to make a moose.
that sounds
pretty
bad.
good.
No, it sounds
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
It sounds bad.
Melon, it's good. And
Because there's a moo that exists.
they were
which is
$40.
a type of clothing.
They were $40 for the bottoms, and I will own more.
No, I don't think that's bad.
Pajama bottoms, Alabama's got them. That's as far as I got in the song.
Pajama bottom jeans.
Oh, that's where I was going too.
Boots with the fur.
I like it.
Maybe-
Okay. No, I've been buying. So I haven't gone to the nice quality socks or anything like that, but I did buy like worker socks that are really thick and durable. And
So
warm.
I don't like the thick ones very much.
So I like thick. So I
The
just want
socks
feet
I have
warm.
on now
warm.
are the
No,
thickest
I'm
socks.
cold all the time.
I did buy a pack of like thicker socks.
Yeah.
But I like not the super thin. Remember the old dress socks
Oh
that you
my
could
gosh!
see
I still
through?
have my
loved
dad's
those.
socks.
They were
in
like
my drawer.
nylons for men.
I loved those.
Do you wear black ones with
really?
white shoes?
I hate socks, is why.
Oh, that's right. You don't wear socks.
Do you have socks on?
I do have socks on, just because it's cold.
Do you hate your feet right now?
Interesting.
Do you loathe your feet?
Wait. Can we switch to what do you wear? So he's wearing pajama bottoms. Do you wear anything
Just
like
underwear.
that? So when you get home, do you get right into underwear? You're just stripped down to underwear?
Oh, no. Like when I first get home,
Yeah.
I usually don't change very quickly.
Really?
If I'm going out to the shop, because these are comfortable as heck.
No, I know.
I will throw on
get
like
change.
like athletic shorts pretty often.
I do that a lot.
So if I don't have a belt on, like I wear a lot of joggers, if I don't have a belt on, I'm not as apt to change. But if I have a belt on, I want to get the belt off.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I think I
Pull like
joggers, moo melons. Is that what you said they're called?
Yeah.
Moo melons. Yeah.
Moo melons. I tend to. Well, it's funny is I wear sweatpants at home.
Yeah.
Like, I just.
How do you sleep? Underwear.
I've
been in
all
hotel
depends
rooms
on the
with you many
temperature
times.
of the room. I don't want to be hot. I don't want to be cold. So like I'll wear clothes if it's cold in the room.
Really?
Like if it's because our room, when you're in a hotel, there's like 9 blankets on there.
Yeah.
You got to be in your underwear and even then I'm pulling the blankets
I mean,
off.
you don't.
But I'm not
have
using
to
the
be-
top, the big one. I don't
Yeah.
use them.
Oh.
You don't have to be in your
Because the
underwear.
name of that blanket is why I don't.
The what? Say it.
duvet.
Nope.
Comforter.
No, the comforter, but it's a specific comforter in a hotel room.
It's not been
Oh,
pre-punched.
really?
It's not been pre-punched. So it doesn't.
It's an unpunched comforter. Yeah.
So in the summertime, underwear only. That's it. 'Cause it's too hot.
Yeah, I can't. If I have even a T-shirt on, I can't wear even shorts.
Even in the wintertime?
ever, because they get
our room is too cold.
they get
Spin.
tangled,
Yeah.
and I'm out. Like I actually,
What's happening?
An
They
anaconda.
get tangled.
I
Now
feel
we
like
know-
an anaconda has me wrapped up the minute I spin.
Now we know why Joe, and Josh probably does too, wears out his mattress in the same spot. They never move. Josh sleeps like a vampire.
I know that's crazy.
Until
I
recently,
like that. I move so much.
I've been waking
at
up on my
night.
side, and it's been hurting my back.
You don't? Do you stay pretty still?
So not quite as dramatic as everybody else. Like you know what I mean. So I move a little bit here and there.
I'm a toss and turner.
But if I turn, I wake up to do it. Like do you know what I mean? Like so if I end up turning, it's not like it doesn't happen in my sleep.
I wonder if I wake
Yeah.
up to turn.
So it's kind of like I'm a little. I mean, it's a split second, but
I feel like if you're wondering it, that means no.
You don't.
Just so you know. Like if you don't know that you
That's a
woke
good
up.
point.
Yeah.
But
I sleep
Josh
with my
can
hands behind my head too.
Josh can be up for
You
15
do?
minutes.
I think that's so weird. My arms would fall asleep so fast.
Josh can be up for 15 minutes and not have memory of that first 15 minutes
That's
of the day.
accurate. That's accurate.
That is very true.
What were you talking about? I don't remember.
I don't know. It started with a brand tattoo on
Tattooing
your
logos.
face.
Oh yeah, I still didn't hear
I said
the brand.
Fender.
Fender. What are you going with, Lloyd?
Nike, the Nike swoosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, face. Has
on
to
your
be a
face.
face.
Oh, it has to be
tattoo.
on your face? Then nothing.
Well,
'Cause
it's kind of like it
this
on
is
the
the
eye.
hype-
I left a church one time
I was
because a
thinking
guy got
eyebrows.
visible
Yeah, just
tattoos.
go right in there.
Eyebrows? Oh, you get the Nike swoosh in your
Right in the
eyebrow?
eyebrow.
Actually,
That's
if you had the
good.
Nike swoosh is like your eye, what's it called? Eye black? It'd be kind of cool.
Hey, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
That's something they used to do.
That's
Oh.
not good.
It's just-
Bright lights.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. First of all, I couldn't imagine getting a face tattoo.
No.
That is such a shift in life. That'd be.
You know, it'd be kind of fun
insane.
though. Okay, hair doesn't grow out after you get the tattooed, right?
Yeah, it does.
No, it does.
Goes
It
right
can.
through
It
it.
kills.
So what if you just got a tattoo under your beard
I
for
like it.
for decades,
No
and
one
then you
would know.
finally shave
Nobody
it,
would know.
and it's a tattoo of like a goatee?
We have a buddy with a giant, the famous tattoo, the famous star.
The famous F?
He has the
Yeah.
F actually.
The F.
Yeah.
It's like,
There's no F.
No, his is the famous,
famous.
brand.
Oh, it's
famous
famous brand.
brand.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And is it face or neck?
It's face,
face.
to neck.
I was gonna say it's
face
It
to
comes
neck.
down his face onto his neck,
Yeah.
and he's one of my favorite guys ever. I love
yeah.
that.
He's
guy.
an awesome guy.
Oh, so cool.
A buddy of mine, Bobby, he had a tattoo of the California bear right under his eye. And
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it looked so cool.
Seems
So
weird.
I
and it was
love the
small,
California bear.
And it was small, so I don't know. It just
Yeah.
worked.
Some people even get the Marilyn Monroe's, is it called? Where
Yeah.
it's just like the mole.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can't stand that tattoo.
The Marilyn
mole.
Monroe?
But how do
I
you- but-
can't stand it.
When have you ever known it's the tattoo?
I can't stand the mole.
Oh, you just don't like the mole. So you don't like
Right.
Cindy Crawford? Not a fan.
Well,
Big-
she's beautiful, but
Oh,
I
okay.
don't like and Marilyn Monroe is beautiful. I'm not saying she's not beautiful.
What if I
don't
what
like
if I
the getting
tattooed
it.
a single line so you always thought it was a hair coming out of it as well? Would it help?
Oh,
I
like
like
one of my
that.
whiskers.
Yeah, just like a
Ryan
whisker.
Ryan
Like
can't
that.
stand anything on people's faces, though.
You guys want to know
actually.
a real story, and you're gonna think I'm gonna get sainted because of this story.
Oh, I doubt it.
Josh had a piece of tobacco in his teeth for most
saw
of
it.
this episode.
I saw it.
No,
Did you see it?
I did
no.
see it. Yeah.
Oh.
It was very small, and I thought, you know what? They're not gonna see it on camera.
So I'm
But
gonna reach
still,
over.
I like to
You're gonna,
know.
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
reach
let it
over.
happen.
I thought we were better friends than that.
No, this is a growth point for me.
It
Oh,
is.
you're like, hey,
Because he wanted
How
to
is
go and stick his finger in your mouth and pick it off.
well,
for
that
you.
would have. That
And
we are.
I shouldn't say most of the episode because
Yeah.
it was in there, and as
Where-
you were
is it
talking,
still there?
eventually
Yeah.
left. No, it's
Oh.
good. It's good.
Wait,
Trust
You
me.
swallowed it a long time.
I
You
watched it a
think-
while.
You think your issue with being grossed out with people having food on their face and needing to tell them to wipe it off their face is a growth moment when your friend is on camera and showing a big old fat piece of tobacco in his teeth
Yeah.
and not telling him makes you a good person.
It was
No.
behind the mic.
Because I went through no one can see this.
Goodness.
You think
now,
you're-
now I'm watching this. Now I'm watching back
You
for
think
it.
you're gonna be sainted by that?
I can't. That's all I got, man. That's all I got to say.
The best thing he's done in his life.
You got to give me the wins when I got them. All right.
I'll white it out and pro.
I
in
actually,
post.
I'll be shocked if you can see it.
No, it's not. You can't see.
There's
a whole
no
bunch
way.
of detail.
It was.
Well, I
and
love
it
that you
was
say that. I
It
love
was
that you, like,
probably.
Instead of the microphone is the reason they can't see it, you went with like what's going on in your head.
yeah. No, it's the forehead.
This is why they
Yeah,
can't
it
see it.
deflects a lot of light.
It might be the giant microphone in front of your teeth.
Yeah.
Might be
It
the
was
reason.
probably 5 to 6 minutes.
Oh.
And I saw it, and it wasn't moving for the
What's
first
funny is
2
I had a
minutes.
couple little
Did
Scooby
you say
snacks.
it's moving? Was it, making
wasn't-
stops?
it wasn't
Was it
moving.
making different stops?
It
Traveling,
wasn't
shaking
moving for
out.
like 2
Tooth to
minutes.
tooth.
And so I left it. And
Next
then
stop,
I was-
molar.
I really was close. And then I saw it dislodge. And I went,
Oh.
Oh,
okay,
he's gonna swallow
It's
that.
eventually going
Nice.
to leave. Yeah.
I
It's going to go.
I swigged it down
Way
with
to
some Coke.
gross everybody out.
It's going to go share
Yeah.
the gospel with the nations on its own.
Yes.
So I just let
That
it
piece
be.
of tobacco's in business for itself.
Yeah.
All right, family.
So I let it happen.
Go make a visit to the other teeth.
So, and the fun part is, I guess you may notice that we are wearing completely different clothing.
Which wardrobe change is important in a podcast.
Totally normal.
100%.
That needs to be
That's
done.
what we do pretty often.
And let's be honest, one of us totally shit their pants. So, and it got on everybody. Time to.
It did.
Yeah.
That does feel
I thought we
most
got
like
past
a
it.
Josh thing.
I
Yeah.
thought we got past it.
We're taking a shot in the dark. The highlight to me is that I'm the only one with a cigar. That was what was the one thing you would deprive the world of? My answer is now changing to cigars. And so that's what happened is I deprive what would you deprive the rest of the podcast of?
Yeah.
So
that seems fair.
I'm the only one that gets a cigar.
In all honesty, it's the only cigar you have. It's not like you have 13 more with you.
Right.
Yeah, this is the only one I brought.
That's
Yeah.
it.
The good news is it is a continuity thing because that is the same cigar I was smoking
Oh,
yesterday.
did you smoke another late hour?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because it's late in the afternoon morning.
That's why I took a nap.
That's right. Man, that needs to be in here somewhere. He was asleep.
Gone.
He was full on asleep.
Yep.
That was a good time.
Not hard to do.
I'll stick to that one.
Ask a
What's the
question.
best thing about the U.S.?
The best thing about the U.S. What's the best thing about us? Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that.
Probably healthcare.
Like the best of us.
Probably
It's another
healthcare
show.
is the number one. We do healthcare better than. Oh no, are we terrible? Oh, my bad.
Well, no, you're right. If you're in a certain tax bracket,
Right.
Yeah.
that's true.
yeah, you are right. If you're in a certain tax bracket, it is the best healthcare in the world.
We do medical care better than anyone.
Yeah, there is something we do very well.
Yeah.
Well, we've capitalized. We've
Maybe
made
that's what it is.
capitalism.
It's health. Medical
Care.
services, medical care.
services.
Because you've built
People
in
come from all over the world.
Because you built in
here.
competition. So when the moment
Yeah.
you build in competition, you're already going to increase the quality of it.
Yeah. Right.
So that's why, and it has the pro and the con. We're going to get the best medical care, but a lot of us who can't afford.
But isn't that probably
best
and that's probably the pro and the con of capitalism in general, right?
Right.
Capitalism is the best form that we know of. It's fantastic. Free market, like it's the best. But it also lends itself to some harmful things also. And it prices some people out.
That's
of
what it
harm.
does.
So it's,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
but
the
again,
harm.
I don't know what a better form is. So
Well,
it is
just think
kind of
about
weird.
this when you go to something like other
a dog
countries,
race, let's say.
countries
No?
who have
Isn't it?
universal health care, which sounds great. But the reality is, think of anything we do in the U.S. that's universal. Just think about working like for the DMV or the government in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Think of the ambitionlessness of that position.
But I'm also surprised by you go to those countries if it's not major. So if it's a minor problem, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So and we've seen it firsthand. I've got friends who went
Our buddy
for
in London.
a sore throat all the way to prostate cancer,
Which was the
100%
worst sore
paid
throat
for.
of all time. By the
No,
way.
yeah, no, it's the
that
same.
leading to prostate cancer was just terrible. Nobody
spread-
saw that coming.
it spread real fast.
Nobody understood.
My throat hurts. Oh, ow. Yeah, and I mean, it was actually funny. We were downstairs having breakfast, and our friend comes downstairs, and she's like, all right, I'm going to the doctor. And she leaves. She doesn't have a car, so she walks. 10, 15 minutes later, she walks back through the door, and I was like, oh, crap, did you forget something? And she goes, no, I went to the doctor. And I go, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
First of all, I can't drive to a doctor in 10, 15 minutes. She walked there because there's one in the neighborhood,
Yep.
immediately sees her, all paid for, gave her like a little medicine, and that's it. Like, so if it's little stuff, I just think it's fantastic. But the minute you get to a certain point, for major surgeries, they're all coming here.
Well,
and so that's
you're
it's
not
interesting.
It's kind of the reason why soccer, the U.S. isn't competitive on the world stage for soccer, is because the cream of the crop goes to the top-paying sports in the U.S. In London, in England alone, our friend is a doctor and doesn't make that much money.
Yeah,
and so
she finally is doing okay because she went to like
Finally.
9 specialties. Remember,
Right.
She was doing as a doctor, as a physician, she barely made any money.
Here we're
like as a
getting
GP.
the
it's
best
terrible.
and the brightest are becoming doctors. There, you can make money as a barrister or a lawyer, attorney. But I'm just saying, like, to be a doctor is more like a civil servant. You're going into this because you actually care about the Hippocratic Oath. You actually want to do good, which is awesome. So you got this very compassionate group of people, but you're not getting the best and the brightest in general because they're not making
Yeah.
the most money.
I love a hippopotamus.
That's all you want for Christmas.
I took a hippopotamus oath. It's way different of an oath, but I took it.
You slapped one on its ass.
I did.
That's not the same thing as making an
I
oath.
slapped a hippo.
It was a hippo?
Yeah.
It was a
I
hippo.
was confused if it was a hippo or a rhino.
No, it was a
The
hippo.
rhino is the hippo's already scary. The rhino would be next level.
You know what's weird? But you're better off slapping a rhino.
Because hippos are the most deadly
Hippos
Yeah,
creatures.
are way
but
more
you're right.
aggressive.
As far as like, if you're just looking at them, there's one that's real scary. Actually, a rhino's kind of a more nimble hippo with a horn.
Yeah.
With armor.
Yeah.
With legit armor.
I wonder if the rhino would even
Oh.
feel it if you slapped it.
I doubt it. When we were in Singapore,
You
we
might
did
get swatted with its tail.
Yeah.
Right? We did a night safari, and they have. It sounds gross looking. I even thought it was gross at the time, but they have a piece of rhino skin on display to show you. It's like 2 or 3 inches thick, and so when I was like, "Yeah, they have thick skin like rhino armor," it's legit armor. It like hardens into this like rock hard. Those like the sheets on its back and stuff are legit 2 or 3 inches thick.
Which makes you ask a question. Why?
Why?
What
has to be the question.
What's trying to
What do you
eat
need to be protected from?
Yeah, what's first of all, it's trying to bite you that you're like, I don't just need to have like tough, durable, because we've seen like, caribou get bit by lions and actually their coat is strong enough to not just immediately tear.
That's what I was thinking. It's got to
What-
be your
do you
lion
mean?
is your big
Dinosaurs?
protection.
They look like dinosaurs.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm just
They
thinking
were
they're just.
around with the T-Rex.
Are they the Triceratops evolution? What are they?
I don't know.
Oh.
They
One-
also
one
evolved from,
ceratops?
or into chickens.
Okay.
Like, have you ever seen the rhino chicken? Whoa, it's
Yeah.
terrifying.
You ever seen a mountain chicken?
I love that. I love that pterodactyl or
But
that
You haven't seen
Is
it?
that a real thing?
And there's like a video of a guy's like, have you seen a mountain chicken? He's like, no, you're scaring me. Have you seen a mountain chicken? No. What does it look like? I don't know, a giant chicken? No. And he shows a picture. It's like a toad.
Oh, really?
It's called a mountain chicken.
And it really
and
is.
he's so upset.
I love
amazing.
that. I love that the theory of evolution is that dinosaurs became birds and then Triceratops became rhinos. I feel like the rhinos win. Like, yeah, we didn't change that much.
I mean,
Right.
I feel
We're
like-
good.
Yeah, they kind of got to, so it's like, all right, we'll give you one.
Here's the other thing is, what are they using that horn on? Like, it's worthless. They're not attacking anything with, like, are they're not carnivores, right? They're omnivores. No, not even omnivores. I think they're probably.
I think they're just
herbivores.
herbivores.
Yeah,
I think.
So what do you need
I
that
can't see
giant
that thing.
horn for?
Is like
For
it's just
scraping
defense?
the bark off
Maybe.
the
No,
tree.
it might be.
Hold on, do that.
Keep doing, yeah,
Or
keep
just-
doing
they're
that.
just like-
Keep doing that.
I can't. That's funny. I never really thought. And isn't their horn hair? What animal is just hair? Their horn is just hair. Besides Ace Ventura.
I don't know. Or Jimmy Neutron is probably the only one.
No,
I
there
can
is
think
an
of.
animal that has like, and it's like anyway.
It's a hair.
All right.
It's like compacted hair.
Yeah, leave that in the comments, everybody.
By the
who's
way,
looking
that's
that
why
up.
the U.S. is great. Rhinos.
Look
What
up
do you
hair
guys? What do you guys think? Why is the U.S. great?
We were just talking about it. I was thinking American food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard not to like American
So
food.
I would say the two that come directly to mind is geography and food. As far as a country, we just have the best geography.
'Cause it's
just
everything?
it's complete. It's literally everything.
It's
So
just
we have it
everything.
all the good stuff. I mean, there's and the food. I can't think of any country that has better, more diverse food.
I was going to say, it's the diversity
Yeah.
and then, quote unquote, Americanization of the food.
The only food I've had outside of the U.S. that I would say was amazing, but it was more the same. Was like was Italy. All the other countries I've been to, I'm like, it's fine, but like Italy's food was great, but it's still just Italian food,
Yeah.
like, all the time.
I think every country does something really well,
Oh, I
and they're
should-
like known
I
for it.
forgot in Israel,
But it's the diversity.
we ate food at someone's home, so somebody made food in their home. That was also amazing. But the food in Israel was fine, but the local cooking was
And
incredible.
it's not that other people and countries can't do it well.
No.
It's just that you could, at the drop of a hat, go anywhere in town and get 20 great meals.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, when I was in St. Petersburg in Russia, like, that's a tourist place.
Right.
And most of the restaurants we went to were terrible.
Yeah.
And not like they weren't like, that's not great.
I've had a lot
they
of
were horrible.
I've had a lot of goulash in different countries. I'm like, really? Is this what we all make in multiple countries? Just a goulash?
Or something rice where it's like pilaf or plov, or just
Plov.
Oh, I enjoyed that
Yeah.
a
Plov.
lot.
What do you think is
Plov.
great about
Plov.
what makes U.S. great, Floyd?
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's the freedom that we have to do and be whatever we want.
That's
as an
pretty good.
individual.
I saw a question on Ask Reddit, as a matter of fact, a while ago that said, "Is the American dream still a thing?"
I think it is, but I think that the level of desire has diminished to a point that people aren't willing to do the hard work to achieve the American dream.
What's the American dream?
If-
It's
What's
different
the-
for everybody.
Yeah, I was wondering
It
what I was
depends on
wondering,
the
like, what-
correlation to like the original American dream. Anyone can emigrate in, and you have all this opportunity.
Yeah.
You're not going to be persecuted for whatever beliefs or anything.
That's what I think the original American dream was, that you
Yeah.
could start with nothing and make something of yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I would say 100%. It was funny because
100%
you know how
could do
Reddit's
that.
angry 90% of the
Right.
time. Try this somewhere. And I'm not a nationalist. I'm really not. But I'm like, really try this somewhere else. Try to walk in from nothing, get a loan,
Right.
and get started, because you actually can still.
Good.
I think in a lot of countries there is so much energy and effort putting into just survival that the idea of trying to do something great becomes secondary. I mean, we live in one of the wealthiest nation in the world. A lot of, in a lot of countries, if you have a change of clothes, you're considered a wealthy person.
Sure.
You know?
The reason the American dream is still alive is because you can point to anybody from any context who's made it. So
Right.
that's your evidence.
Yeah.
So pick somebody, pick their demographic, pick their gender, their race, their socioeconomic, and they have made it. You can find somebody say they came from this area, from
Yeah.
that area, and we can point to them and say, even when they're young, and say, I know it's alive because this person is representing that this group, somebody made it. It's possible.
Yeah.
Not that it's
Right.
going to work for everybody.
I think the
but it's
opposition
possible.
would say, which I don't disagree with, is that I think it was a lot easier at some point. I think the competition is through the roof
Sure,
now.
yeah.
We have the population is much higher.
Yeah. That's funny, but
So
you'd say
which I get.
the opposite would be in the entertainment industry. There was a time where you had 3 channels to be a celebrity on or make a movie. Now you have 8 billion opportunities, including YouTube,
Yeah.
literally to become a celebrity.
That's one of the biggest game changers of all, is that
Yeah.
you could actually do it yourself.
Could do it yourself.
You need no one.
Create your own channel.
Gamer. You can become a professional gamer, like literally
Yeah.
just start doing Twitch TV.
I
and all
think
of a
the
sudden,
vast majority of the
there's a-
largest channels. Mr. Beast, I heard this today, was at 130 some odd million subscribers.
crazy.
130 130 some odd million, 127, I think. 100, over 100 million subscribers.
Dollars. Oh, sorry.
But I love them.
It did feel like the pinky.
My favorite is he's been catching a bunch of flack. So he's done two things recently that I loved. He paid for 1,000 blind people with vision deficiencies to all get the surgery so they can all see now.
Oh, wow.
He paid for 1,000 people just done. Then he went to South Africa and bought 20,000 kids new shoes so that they could walk to school. And I was like, that's so awesome. And immediately people are like, I can't believe this guy making a profit on that stuff. I'm like, wait, but he did it. No. But he actually bought the kids shoes.
But he filmed it and showed it, right?
And so people are just, it's so weird that we just want to hate on somebody who did it awesome. Because I'm like, would you like it better if he didn't make any money? And the funny part is he actually gives all the money that he makes on that episode back to his charity. And it kind of just makes me chuckle because I'm like, let's say he made $1 million from giving kids shoes.
Right.
I'm stoked because then he turns around and he takes that $1 million and buys more shoes.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
Anytime there's those charitable videos.
I love those videos.
They're so wholesome.
And I know they're making money on them.
There are always comments where it's like, hey, it'd be better if you just did it and didn't film it. Like, yeah, but I wouldn't get to see it. I think it's
like,
I think
why
it's
are
awesome.
you mad?
I know.
Why?
It's clearly.
I don't understand what you're
love
getting
those
angry
videos.
about,
and
man.
they're like, yeah, so he gave away 10 grand overall, but he made 100 grand. I'm like, good on you that you said, I'm going to make money by giving other people money.
Isn't it smarter?
Yay.
Because I just think about like the sustainability. I've got $1 million, so I can do this 10 times before I'm out of money. But if I'm making money while I'm doing it, I can do it indefinitely, and I can just keep helping people.
Like it also could couldn't talk. Almost could perpetuate others and inspire other people to do the same thing.
100%. You see that and it networks out. It's
the one that gets me, and it's the one that I think has the most credence as far as complaint goes, was that I read one thing that said, when you do that, you are actually perpetuating the cycle of poverty because there is something systemically broken in that system that actually has people living in those types of conditions.
Yeah.
So the more that you give charitably, the worse it is because it makes the system actually keep churning it out. But then I always go back to, and this is it's not a scapegoat, but I always go back to Jesus saying there will always be the poor among you. And I'm like, it's not that we shouldn't try and help and shouldn't even try and fix the systemic problems. We should. But then there's this thing that it's like, if you think that not doing charitable work is better than doing charitable work,
You're out of your mind.
you're out of your mind.
You're out of your mind.
Because it's more about the individual than it is the system. And that's where we drop the ball.
And they're two separate things. No one's saying, let's give charitably and then like not have a system. And also you can't say like, we have a system, so don't give charitably. That's a ridiculous thought process.
Exactly.
You've done a lot of homeless work, Joe.
Perpetual. I almost
Let's edit that out. Hey, nope. You've done a lot of homeless work with the homeless. You've done some work with the homeless. I've done some work with the homeless. Josh has been homeless. That was mean.
I think we all have.
But
I was
homeless for a stint.
But we all have met people on the street doing homeless ministry, yeah. Josh gave me his I can't talk disease.
I give it back to you.
Thank you. We've all ran into people on the street and that are just broken. And if you don't give them food for a day, they're not going to have food for the day.
This is going to be bad
Because we're laughing hysterically while talking about a major issue. That's a great point. And I think homeless ministry is a very different concept because a lot of, and I hate to say it because it's not honestly trying to be mean, but there's a large mental health issue within the homeless population. So it's really difficult to say, oh, let's fix this systemically.
This isn't happening.
You won't hate it.
Here you go.
Oh my God.
Thanks for joining us on You Won't Hate It. I'm Josh.
Hi, Brian.
Floyd. I'm Joe. Oh, shoot.